Hello, testing. Is this thing on? Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shady Monkey Show. Big shout out to our sponsor, Oriental Distilling Company, the best gin in China, if you like gin. And a very special guest, the Dirty Curdy.
What's up, man?
What's going on, dude?
Monkey man. Dude, it feels good to be back, dude.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah. That last time was certainly memorable, man. A walk down Shenzhen music history lane, I think, is what we did last time.
Yeah, with the podcast with Freddie.
Yeah.
And I got to. One of the coolest things was I still remember is that you got the guitar to mend your broken heart.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, Diana Zipper with the dub on that one.
Your mom, right? She was just like,
it's time.
Stop being a pussy. Go do something with your life. Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's kind of what it was like. It was like, you need to get over this kid here.
Go do something.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, dude. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so times have changed a lot in our many years of living in Shenzhen.
Oh man, it's definitely it's not what it used to be. That's for damn sure.
And it's cool to see you and which I never knew this. I never knew you were such a avid gamer.
See, dude, this is funny because I've been told this a lot recently. Like over the past, I guess, 2 years that I've been doing this channel.
Right.
And it's like, dude, I've always been obsessed with video games.
See, I never knew that. And I've known you for years, and I don't think I've ever once had a conversation with you about gaming.
Oh, dude, always. That's like, we were talking before the podcast. Like, some of my earliest memories are literally watching my dad try to beat Super Castlevania 4.
So was he was big into video games when you were a kid?
So it's weird. No, I don't think either of my parents were big into video games, but I'll start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's like my parents were they sheltered us fairly hard about the content that we could consume.
Sure.
So
no rated R movies.
No rated R movies, no rated mature games.
Right. But during that time though, what, Nintendo NES?
Well, you got to think too, this is the time when Doom and Duke Nukem were coming out.
So computer games.
Well,
right?
So here's the thing. So
also there was games like Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry,
the big titties and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was the case at my house, but at my cousin's place, it was not. My cousin Freddie could just play
whatever he
wanted.
Right.
And my Uncle Fred was pretty into games. So a big part of going to my cousin Freddie's house is we used to sit and watch my Uncle Fred play Doom.
Like Doom 1?
Yeah. Okay. And he would turn off all the lights in his office and have his surround sound blasting, and we would just sit there at the age of 6 or 7 and just sit there and watch Uncle Fred blowing the heads off demons in Doom.
Doom was such a revolutionary game.
Well, at that point my dad had seen him play it. My dad's a dude, and I'm pretty sure he was like, all right, this is actually
looks cool.
This is actually pretty cool. So I remember I had to be 6 years old. My dad came home with Doom. And I remember being so excited and just being I'm going to get to watch Dad play Doom. This is going to be so cool. And my dad just went and if you tell Mom about this, we won't be able to play Doom. And dude, this grew into my dad used to call it Duke Nukem Tuesdays, where I would get home from school, and before my mom would get home from work, I would sit next to the computer with my dad and watch him play Duke Nukem and Doom.
Dude, Duke Nukem was so good. I mean, Duke Nukem was the first. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it was the first edgy shooter. Oh. Because they had you go into the strip club.
Oh, dude, yeah, just throwing singles at girls and
and just the dialogue of the character.
Well, I think that was one of the first video games that explicit language was used in. But yeah, so that grew into pretty much just playing video games with my dad. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. I used to come home after school. I remember one year we spent a month every day after school beating Castlevania together. My mom has always been super into Mario games. My mom still has a Switch.
Oh, really?
I give my mom my old Switch games when I go home. So yeah, I mean, I have always been like, video games have always been like have always been a part of my life.
That's cool.
And then, let's say maybe like my 3rd and 4th year here in China, when like music was becoming kind of a thing, I guess I kind of took a step back and like took a little bit of a break. But like John used to make fun of my gaming addiction back in the day. Like, oh yeah, all the time, man. Yeah, like that was the thing. Even Adrian too. I remember giving Adrian, I gave him The Witcher because I guess him and Bea got really into the show. So I gave them The Witcher 3, and he just came back like a week later and was like, "This isn't healthy, man."
Oh, shit. Well, that's the kind of the Witcher show is kind of recent.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Witcher games have been around. Well, the Witcher books
have been around for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And then I want to say like the first Witcher game probably came out in like 2004. A long time ago. I want to say something like that. And then nobody really cared about it until The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3 was phenomenal.
Oh, dude. Amazing video game.
I've only played like 3 hours into it. You know? I bought it twice, actually. I bought it twice. Like I bought it for like the PlayStation 4 on disc. And then when the PlayStation 5 version came out, it wouldn't let me. It was supposed to be like a free upgrade. I couldn't upgrade it. I don't know why. It wouldn't like automatically.
Oh, you know what? Because the disc you had it on was probably region locked.
And then I looked it up. I was like trying to figure it out, and it's like, oh, the region lock, blah blah blah. I was like, fuck it, like just buy it. It's such a good game. I've
bought that game and played it not all the way through, but 3 separate times. So I had it on PS4, and then when they announced that it was coming out for the Switch, I was like, dude, like being able to play The Witcher 3 anywhere, like,
on the go.
Yeah, like I'm totally getting that. You gotta think, man, like how many planes I take that are like 15 plus hours long, not to count like waiting in an airport for 3 hours.
Oh man, those kind of games are like the best kind of
perfect
time
for that
killer.
situation. Yeah, yeah, man. And then when they announced the PS5 update, I was like, you know what? We're just
gonna go at it.
We're gonna go through this again, man. Yeah.
Yeah, my story with video games is different. So, my dad was always like anti-video game, right? And this was like the Super Nintendo, the first one, just got released,
right?
And I wanted it, and my dad was like, "No, like, you know, I'm not gonna buy it for you." Totally against it. So my mom gave my grandmother money so that she could buy it, and say like, "Oh, this is a gift from Grandma."
Oh,
right?
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
So I got like my first gaming system was the NES, right, and all my friends would come over and we played the shit out of it,
right.
So I never got the Super Nintendo, which I guess is the next generation.
Yeah. So there was the NES, just the OG,
right?
And then
I had the OG,
right.
And then my next console after that, I was like 21, I think it was, when the PlayStation 2, which was a revolutionary system.
It's like still the highest selling system of all time, man.
Came out, and I was just like, I remember like my mom, like I was living in Seattle at the time, and my mom was kind of living in a small rural part of California, and I couldn't find it anywhere in Seattle.
Okay.
You know, because they're just like selling out. Like,
right, yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
But she was able to go online at the local Walmart and grab one, and then she ended up like shipping it to me. You know, like
dude, nice. Yeah.
But before that, so like so my dad had like a shift in thinking, because like he in 94 he got a job at a video game company as an artist.
Oh wow. What was the company?
So the company was called Tachyon.
Okay.
And they released one game that was a total flop.
Okay.
It was like a real-time strategy game. Like, you know the Warcraft series, right?
Yeah.
So Warcraft 1 was already released.
Okay.
And then this was another like similar style of game.
Yeah.
A little different on how it worked, but anyways.
Right.
Same, like, you know,
concept.
top view.
Yeah.
You know. And just before this game was going to be released, Warcraft 2 came out.
Oh, and that's like
king.
Yeah, one of the goats, man.
You know, one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. Also too, because I have so many memories about it. And so like, it it just killed any chances of their game. You know, and they had like a D&D. They got a D&D. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be like a D&D game, but then they got like a license from Dungeons and Dragons to make it like a D&D game. Huge flop. The company closed. But during that time, it was like I was in high school. Yeah. So it was like 94, so I was freshman year. And so my dad started playing video games, right? And
how the tables have turned.
It was like the Pentium like 100 chip was just released. It was like the top of the line fucking chip at the time, and he had one of these computers at his work, right, for his art stuff, and he was doing like 3D modeling and stuff,
right?
And he wanted to buy one for the house, so he bought this same computer that they gave him that they had at the office for the house. So on the weekends, he would bring his computer from the office home, and then we would link up. The computer. So it was like 14-year-old me and him, and we used to like play like Warcraft 2 like all night long. Like we would start like 8 at night, and then like 6 in the morning, my mom would wake up and come downstairs and be like, "What the fuck you guys doing?"
Still
we're still just fucking gaming, And we played like the shooters. There was like Duke Nukem was out. Doom 1 was already out, but then Doom 2 came out, and that was like huge.
That's me and my dad never went that hard, but
dude, we went hard.
Yeah,
but mostly for Warcraft. Like we love like the strategy games.
You got to think too, man. Like just how small, like back in the 90s, like how small gaming was of a thing. So like everyone kind of has these shared memories of the same games of being like, oh, dude, like Warcraft 2, because that was another one that my dad like very randomly got super into. Mm-hmm. Was playing Warcraft 2. I'm trying to think what else my dad used to play. There was this other very random LucasArts game that was just called Outlaws.
Was it? Was it Outlaws?
It was called Outlaws, and it was very much just a Doom clone, like a first-person shooter. Okay, but it was.
I'm thinking of another LucasArts art film. It was about a biker. I don't remember the name, but it was more of like a Monkey Island,
like
style.
point-and-click adventure kind of thing,
something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Outlaws. It's just you were in the Wild West, and you were just a bounty hunter. Like right. every level was just hunting down some other criminal. And I just remember me and my dad played the ever-living life out of Outlaws. And again, you got to think, like my mom, my dad found these loopholes that like my mom, I wasn't allowed to play these games. Right. But that didn't mean my dad couldn't play them. And I couldn't pull up a chair next to the computer and watch my dad play. So like my dad is captaining the ship while I'm co-piloting and telling him what to do. Yeah. That too, man, like, I have so many, like, again, I'm talking a lot about my dad, but my dad always made it a point for, like, video games to be, like, special things for us. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember the best Christmas of all time, waking up to the PlayStation 1.
Oh, shit.
And it was, like, that year, I think it was 1997, like, everybody in my neighborhood got a PlayStation 1. And it came with, like, Crash Bandicoot 2, and then, like, on top of it, my parents each got us all, like, our own individual game. But when the PS2 came out, this was like total baller move by my dad, and I'm pretty sure he did it against all of my mom's wishes. That like
you were like early high school, maybe just getting to high school at this time.
I was younger than that. I think I was in 6th grade.
Because it was like 2002, 1 or 2.
Yeah. So I had just come home from school, and my parents never let me play video games like right after school. It was like, no, go do your homework, which like. I totally did my homework, man. Right. But that particular day, I thought I would just try my luck and just be like, Dad, like, come on. Like, can I just play some video games? And he was just like, yeah, you know what? Sure, go ahead. And like, I just remember being so surprised. Like, that's never happened. They're pretty like steel curtain about this thing.
Right,
man.
like homework first, and then you had 20 minutes to play something or do something.
And we had this cabinet that like we kept all the gaming consoles and VCR and everything.
Installed it.
I opened it up, dude. There was just a PS2 like sitting in there, and like I just remember like being like, "Is this real? Like, is this actually like a thing?" And my dad just laughing his ass off, sitting over there, just be like, "Go ahead, yeah, enjoy."
And he was so excited.
Oh, dude, it came with what was that first game he got for it? It was Tekken Tag Tournament.
Okay. Is
what he got. And then he himself was also obsessed with like NCAA football. So at one point, the game he had so many seasons. He had so many dynasties going with, I think it was like Auburn or some shitty football team. Like he would always pick like the worst team and just be like, I'm going to build this into a complete dynasty, like over 40 seasons. And I forget what year it was, but he had this dynasty going for like 50 seasons to the point where the game just made him retire.
No shit.
Like he finished a season and it just came up like, you've officially retired. Please start again.
Oh, wow. It was like push the limit of memory.
Well, that's like, my dad just put so much time into just being like, an elite college football team manager, basically.
On his PlayStation 2?
On his PS2, yeah.
That's one thing I could never get into sports games. I don't know if you play sports games, but like...
I have a really funny story about that, too. So, because my dad I told you this, my dad used to work in the NFL. Football
he was like an announcer, right?
Yeah, he was the radio broadcaster for the Dolphins, but... Football clearly was always like a huge part of our house. So like every year, like Madden came out, like we would get Madden, and like clearly my dad and my brother would be into actually playing the game. I used to spend, and I still do this to this day. Beatrice makes fun of me for this now. I used to spend more time creating players and like dressing them up in all the cool gear and like giving them all the cool face masks and like sweatbands and stuff.
And then actually playing it?
Never actually playing the game. And my mom, now granted, you got to think, this is like 2004, everybody. My mom came up and was just like, this is Barbie for boys.
Right?
This is what this is. Like you are just dressing up your action figures in a digital game.
That's true, you know?
And still to this day, like character creators and stuff, like
you spend hours trying
dude, I spend an embarrassing amount of money on like cosmetics.
Oh, do you? You're one of those?
Oh, dude, totally. Like new outfits for my dudes. And Beatrice just like, she is so ashamed. She's like, you are literally like buying dresses for your waifu right now. I'm like, but I need it.
It's so pretty. You know, it matches my mood today.
Exactly. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, man. That's anyone can play with Barbies. Barbies just aren't for girls. Boys can play for Barbies in 2024, of course. But at the time, my mom just being like, "Dude, do you just want me to get you like some Barbies or something?"
Right.
Just like,
yeah, man. No, it was like I felt like so lucky too. Like when my dad was working at that company, like I had my schooling situation has always been different than most people. Mm-hmm. So like I went to, it was freshman year. I was just coming off the back of being homeschooled for 2 years. And then I wanted to stop being homeschooled and go into a public school. And we just moved to a new city, new town.
right.
So I was like, like I want a little taste of normal life.
What does normalcy feel like?
You know, like make some friends, whatever. But like I lasted like half a semester there, and then my dad was like, okay, you're not doing too good. And I was never a good student,
right?
You know, so like it was like fuck it, like I'm gonna put you on independent study, right? So there was an independent study program. So there was like the high school, and then down the road a little bit was like the really bad kids school, you know, like all the troublemakers and the fighters, and then there was like the independent study, which was mostly like pregnant teens,
right? I mean,
you know?
like kids that needed to essentially drop out of school without dropping out of school, yeah.
And then like kids who were just like super anti-social or had no like good kids, but like just no social abilities,
right?
You know, just kind of like, I don't know, maybe they had autism.
So not quite homeschooling, but
so I would meet with this teacher once a week,
right?
You know, and she would like give us all the homework for the week,
right?
And then when you were there during that week, she'd give you the test, right, based on the last week, so whenever the tests were due,
yeah,
you know, and she was super cool. She like. And she had a huge impact on my life as far as like getting out of school. Mm-hmm. So like I started going to my dad's office, well, the company that he worked for, like after lunch every day. And I was just kind of like the company mascot. So like the game designer would be like, okay, I need you to test this game. Write down everything like...
That's awesome. I'm sure.
All the bugs.
How old were you at this
14,
point?
15.
For a 14-year-old, man, that sounds awesome.
It was great. And they all took me underneath their wing. They're all like 20 year, like late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Cool dudes.
Right.
And I was just kind of like this kid that they all just kind of mentored. And, I remember like I saw my first like porno magazine, which they had like in the bathroom.
Just in the office?
In the office, like, because there was like three different divisions because they're working on 3 different games. And so one division was all like men, and they had like their own bathroom in that room.
Right.
And then that's where they just had
they
like
just had a stash.
Like a Playboy. It was okay. I don't want to say porn, but it was like a Playboy or
it was the classy stuff.
It was the classy stuff. But anyways, I grew up from like a boy, to a young man,
right,
in the hands of gamers.
Right, nice, man. Yeah.
And it was just like, so going back to the teacher, every hour that I was at the game company, which was a lot, she gave me high school credit for.
Oh, whoa.
As like work experience.
Yeah.
I don't know how she manipulated it.
Well, internship experience or something. Right? Yeah.
And so like I had enough credits to graduate a year early.
Oh, whoa.
In high school.
Yeah.
So I had to like my third year, the company closed and we moved situations.
I feel like I just read this recently that kids that do independent study oftentimes do end up graduating early.
I mean, dude, like literally, like I would burn through all the homework in 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So my dad would come home because we lived by the company. It was a small mountain. Remember Sierra Online?
Sierra Online.
They made King's Quest.
Ah, yes.
Like old
yeah,
OG
like
game
old
company.
School RPGs.
Right.
Yeah.
So this company was everyone who the guy who created the company that my dad worked for used to work for Sierra Online.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was a mountain community. I think there was like 10,000 people.
Right.
Scattered about the hills.
Right.
It was like on the doorstep of Yosemite National Park.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like very, very kind of isolated.
That had to be beautiful.
It was amazing. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So and then eventually my dad, after this company closed, my dad ended up working for Sierra Online for some time.
So, I mean, is your dad's background like in design and art or like...
Yeah, so
I don't even know. It seems like he worked in tech.
He's an artist.
Yeah.
So like he went to art school as fine art.
Yeah.
And he's a painter. He's a drawer. He's a sculptor.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess.
So, yeah, no, I mean, definitely like a lot of my I don't want to say a lot, if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't be, doing the things that I've done or learn the things that, I've learned. And he always was big into technology too. Like we had the very first Photoshop.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I grew up with Photoshop since I was a young boy.
Yeah.
We had like the
since I was a young boy.
Macintosh like 2SI, which was like the very first one of the very first Macintoshes and stuff like that. I just kind of grew up in that, in that kind of world.
No, that's cool, man. When I told my dad I really wanted to go into radio, and I was a total entitled brat about it for sure. Mm-hmm. But I told my dad just yeah, man, I'm gonna go into radio, and all I need to do is tell people that I'm your kid. And,
you're a shoo-in. Right?
Oh, and my dad was just number one, my first piece of advice if you want to get into radio,
don't ever tell people I'm your kid.
Well, don't do it because it's a dying art form. And 2, if you ever try to use me as a reference and they call me, I'm telling them not to hire you. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, man, he was right because I mean, how many people listen to radio stations anymore?
Yeah, not
That's not a thing.
I can't even remember the last time I listened to a radio.
Yeah,
obviously we live in China right now, but like,
I was saying, when's the last time you were in a car and like dialed in like the station you wanted to listen to? Like nobody does that anymore. When I was back in the States, it's all like serious online radio. It's all podcasts, all that stuff. Right. Like nobody
or Bluetooth from your phone.
Bluetooth in your phone. Yeah. Spotify.
So
yeah.
But I remember as a kid, like when I was living when my dad was at the gaming company, like I used to always like. To help me fall asleep, I would listen to, and I still have this problem where I want to listen to something because I don't know, my brain is too active.
I do the same thing, man. I need background noise.
So if I listen to something, I can fall asleep with like in 10 minutes.
Right.
If I don't have something to listen to, I'm just fucking in my thoughts and tossing and turning and fucking. So I used to listen to like Art Bell.
Art Bell? No.
You don't know Art Bell?
No.
So Art Bell was Coast to Coast AM. I think it started like at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And he was always like talk. Your dad must know Art. You talk to your dad about Art
my
Bell.
dad's probably gonna watch this and be embarrassed that I don't know who this person is.
So like he was like it was an AM station, and at 10 o'clock every night. But he used to talk about like aliens and UFOs and ghosts and like weird phenomenon and ooze fucking falling from the sky, right? Just like weird shit. You know, like it was a kind of like the X-Files radio show.
Right, of late night AM radio, yeah.
Right, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to love that shit, man. Like just like listen to it and just.
Well, now we just have Joe Rogan to do that.
You know, now we have Joe Rogan, you know? Podcasts, you know, it's so cool. Like, you know, and like going back to your point about like where your dad said like radio is a dying form, but like podcasts are.
It's just the next evolution of it.
It's the next evolution.
Yeah,
you know, everybody can do it and. Well, we're doing it.
Well, yeah, right.
We're nobodies.
Yeah.
You know, talking the shit and posting it online.
And throwing it out into the void, hoping that somebody picks it up.
Hopefully someone will listen.
Yeah. No, man, the more that I think about it, it's like my dad's career was pretty wild. Like my Uncle Scott, funnily enough, who also has a pretty wild career. My Uncle Scott is a pilot for UPS. You might have met him once or twice. He used to come into Shenzhen every once in a while.
I remember meeting your dad and your mom, but I never met your uncle.
My dad and mom were just here not too long ago, and they were asking about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, next time they come over, I want to get your. Would they be interested in the podcast?
So I asked my dad if he wanted to do like this podcast, and he was totally into it. He was like, yeah, like let me know. We'll pick a day. But we were just so ridiculously busy.
Oh fuck,
because they were only here for like 4 days.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anytime, morning time, nighttime, afternoon, next time.
There you go. You heard it, Big Bill. The next time you're in town, hopping on the Shady Monkey podcast. No, but it's my Uncle Scott kind of teases him a little bit that my dad has the habit of falling in shit and coming out smelling like a rose.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, like how my dad just got into doing sports radio to begin with was like he was literally just that dude at Lehigh University basketball games that was like, and number 8 is checking in.
Like the
just like the service announcer on the side of the court, basically. Right. And my dad explained this to me one way. I'm going to get the details wrong. But basically, some dude that he went to university with got a job. And I don't know if this dude... Something happened that somebody called out sick or something, and they needed a replacement. So they called my dad to come fill in. And then after that game, the dude who called in sick didn't have a job anymore.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
they
hired him? Yeah, they axed him and hired my dad.
Wow.
So that's always kind of been a bit of advice with my dad. Like, I don't think my dad has ever taken a day off sick. Like, he took off 1 day sick to take me to the hospital once.
He was scared.
Well, that's the thing, man. Just because some dude didn't show up for work, my dad, like, had this crazy career. Like,
right.
So then similarly, I think that same guy like went to the Dolphins and they needed somebody to come with him, and he just called my dad and was like, hey, this has opened. Can you send me some tapes? And he got the job with the Dolphins. So it's just...
So like when you say like he got the job with the Dolphins, so he was working for the Dolphins or working for a broadcasting
He was
company?
working like for the Miami Dolphins.
And they would broadcast the games on the local radio.
Wherever the game was. So like I'd have to ask him. I'm not sure how that works with them broadcasting it to Miami, but he used to fly everywhere. Like he cut a deal with them. He had his normal radio job in Philadelphia at 98.1 WOGL. And then Friday he would leave work and then just come pick us up from school, hang out, and then fly out to wherever the Dolphins were playing that weekend.
So yeah, he had two employers.
Yeah, he had the radio station he was working for in Philadelphia,
right?
And then the
Which
Miami
he got
Dolphins.
later, or no? He was working there first, and then somebody invited him to be.
That's a whole other thing. How he got that job in Philadelphia, I actually think that was my mom, who they've never told me the details. I don't know if they needed the money or something, but my mom pushed him to send tapes in to the city, basically.
Right.
He was working for a radio station. It was a country music radio station, WIP, in Lehigh Valley. And again, behind every strong man is a stronger woman kind of thing. My mom was just like, honey, you're great. Send tapes in to stations in Philadelphia. And then he did that, and he got this job at 98.1. At one point, he was one of the most listened to guys in Philadelphia.
There was country station.
No, this wasn't the one in Philadelphia. Was an oldies station.
Okay,
I think we talked about this last podcast. That's where I picked up my love of just funk, soul, and Motown music. Was just from my dad working at this radio station. But yeah, he went on to do that, and then simultaneously at that time I think he was doing Penn State football at the same time and Penn State basketball, and then moved on to the Dolphins. It's pretty wild, man. And it's my dad his partner played for the 72 Dolphins.
Oh wow.
The only undefeated team in NFL history. He was the starting tight end for the 72 Dolphins.
Partner as in radio host?
Yeah, so that dude was the color, my dad was the analyst. So, the guy being Marino drops back 5 yards, he throws a Hail Mary, it's caught at the 5. That was my dad. And then the other guy would be
he's having an emotional day,
he looks like a turkey high stepping through a cornfield, shit like that, that dude always used to say that my dad was the most humble man in the NFL.
That's hard. I mean, it's hard work to be able to talk while live shit is happening. And talking in
I used to ask my dad about that and just being how do you do you not get nervous before games? Is there a sense of stage fright? And he said his first game with Penn State, he studied the roster. And he was yep, I think I got it. And then he said they all ran onto the field for warm-ups, and he was oh, wait, no, who's that guy? Oh, wait, no, who's that guy? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Right. But eventually he said dude, think about the thing that, you love most. If somebody could pay you just to watch a fish show and then just, nerd out about it and, tell people what's going on, right. It's when you put it like that, yeah, I could totally do that. Right. And, yeah, he said he had the easiest job in the world. He just he got paid to watch football, get excited, and tell people about it.
Yeah, but still, you have to be so tuned in, right? Because every play, there's a lot of action going on.
Oh man, all kinds. Even still, sitting down and watching football with my dad,
if you sneeze or have you missed the fucking fumble, right?
My dad, apparently, he has done entire news reports and entire sections of a football game. How people hold their nose like this to not sneeze. Just like that, in the middle of a sneeze. Right. But even to this day, if you sit down and watch football with my dad, he catches stuff that nobody really watches. He'll be all right, on the instant replay, watch the left tackle's footwork.
He's watching everything.
Yeah, and it's just oh shit, why are you watching that, Dad? He's I'm watching all of it, but these are just the things that I take notice of.
His eyes are focused on everything.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing, man. And the more and more I think about it, I have, for both my parents, but I just have such crazy admiration and respect for my dad. And I wish I wasn't just such an anti-authoritative brat when I was in middle school and high school.
You have to be. I mean, I think that's part of growing up and becoming a man or becoming your own person,
dude. And I'm so thankful that my dad is also my dad's Superman, dude. He's still in super good shape. He still lifts. He's starting to slow down a little bit as he ages, but he squatted 500 pounds on his 55th birthday just to prove that he still could. He's an ubermensch, man. Right. And I'm so glad that my dad has taken care of his body and that we still have a decent amount of time where my dad is up, healthy, lucid, and still just being superhero. Right. And now that he has grandkids, him with my nephew and my nieces, the best part is being able to see him still just be goofy ass dad with none of the responsibility.
Is he still gaming?
Is he? I bought him the Doom collection for Switch.
The new Doom?
Yeah, it comes with all of them.
Oh, really?
Like, it's like Doom 1 through 3, Doom 64, Doom 2016. And I think
Doom Eternal, right? It's the newest
one?
It
didn't have Doom Eternal. It came out before Eternal.
Okay.
But I think he plays that every once in a while. Him and my mom love playing the Oregon Trail. That's one of the things that they play together.
I remember that. Dude, the Oregon Trail, man. Yeah, I remember playing that in like elementary school or like 6th grade. I don't remember. Maybe it was high school, but it was just like, static pictures with some like shitty animation.
Yeah, but yeah,
you have to choose.
Yeah,
like,
Diana has died of dysentery.
What do you do? Like you go look for firewood, or
just
you
choose your
burn
own
the
adventure.
clothes that you have to make a fire.
Exactly
to save Diana. It's like, fuck, I don't know.
Honestly, man, that's another great gaming memory. Is him and my mom used to like have competitions and make bets to see who could make it to like whatever settlement faster.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was like random. Like every time you played it, was like a random like mix of scenarios. I'm sure if you played it too many times, you probably see everything. But like
I remember again being in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and my mom and dad just like going at it over who could make it to Jacksonville faster. Right.
Did you ever play Myst?
Myst? No, dude. I have read that is one of the most stupidly convoluted games.
Yeah.
Like ever created. That like it took forever for people to figure out how to actually play and beat it.
Yeah. It was like basically like you get dropped in. There's like no like tutorial or nothing. You just get dropped into this island.
Go.
And then go. It's just like,
oh wait, dude. So okay, speaking of games with that kind of design, I can't believe I never talked to you about this game. This is so up your alley. Have you seen that game called Scorn?
Sounds familiar.
So it's all based off of the artwork of H.R. Geiger,
the
alien guy.
Sure.
And it's very much just that. It's like you just wake up and it's just figure out what you're supposed to do. And like the entire game is basically just a puzzle of trying to figure out how to get out of this very alien world. Excuse me. But because it is like the world of H.R. Geiger, essentially, like nothing makes sense. It's like you walk up to something and it says like interact, and you're like, what does this even do?
Right.
What am I doing this for?
Yeah, I never played it.
Check it out, man. I feel like if you think that game Myst is super interesting, like
I fucking hated Myst.
Oh, you hate? Okay, yeah.
Then
maybe the Scorn isn't for you.
Yeah, I mean it's like, like for me, like I love games, but like at this point in my life, like I have very limited time to play.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like when the new Helldivers came out, it was like the perfect game for me.
Right.
4 buddies or 3 random people.
I gotta hop on with you sometime, man. Like I put like 25 hours into that game, and then I think just like Final Fantasy VII or something came out, and just like
Dragon's Dogma,
yeah. Stellar Blade, dude. Right? Yep, bro. I got just video games, man.
So
yeah,
what is your most favorite video game?
Oh, bro, I don't even have to think about this one. Bloodborne.
You keep telling me about this game,
dude. Oh man, so honestly, the next tattoo that I'm gonna get is going to be literally the Bloodborne logo.
Oh really?
It's all based off of like H.P. Lovecraft mythology to a certain extent. It's set in like,
and it was released a while ago, right?
Yeah, so 2015.
Okay.
But I was just playing it the other day, and it still holds up. Like it's still just a phenomenal piece of art.
Right.
But it's very much, all right. I'll give you the lowdown. It's based off of very much H.P. Lovecraft, cosmic horror. Things are existing on this plane, but we don't have a high enough level of perception to see them, kind of thing. But it starts out that you are a dude that goes in for a blood transfusion, and they tell you like, okay, like you're gonna have weird dreams when this happens, just so you know. And then you just wake up like in this Victorian, like Bram Stoker Dracula kind of setting. You could play through the entire game without reading item descriptions, without like looking at the environment around you, get to the end and say, what did I just play? What was this even about? Like, what happened? Or if you take the time to like take in the environmental storytelling, or now we have YouTube, You can just do that and watch all the lore explanation videos. There is so much just hidden stuff that is going on. There are entire articles that just are titled "What's Actually Happening in Bloodborne," and it's wild. It's like a church and a university are all in this massive, almost arms race to be able to raise their like spiritual insight to perceive and communicate with the great ones. Like, like H.P. Lovecraft has the old ones. Very similar concept. And as you go through the game, your character starts to gain this insight and perceive beings that are existing on our plane of reality, but we don't have the ability to perceive them. And it just gets wild. It just gets insane.
Oh, I'll check it out, man.
The ending of the game, and again, I won't spoil anything, but it's like, depending on how you play it, it's like it could end like you wake up from your blood transfusion and it was a bad dream and nothing happened, or that this shit is like actually real. It's wild. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man. Bloodborne is Beatrice. I'm pretty sure I'm banned from talking about it in the house because she has just had to sit for like 6 years and just hear like, sweetie, this thing happened in Bloodborne the other night. Yeah, actually, you want to talk about a real test of a marriage, man? Oh my God. I was in the middle of playing Bloodborne once.
Oh no.
400 hours into this game, and there's a PvP element to it too. Right. Like people like meet up online and duel. So like I had.
So you have to play with other people, or you can also.
You don't have to. It's very much primarily just like a
solo first person, or a single player.
But there's an online component that like if you're having trouble with a boss, like you can summon people in to come help you.
Oh, okay.
That's just a whole other thing that's super cool. But you can also summon people in to fight. So people set up like battle arenas and stuff. So I had characters that were just purely for
fighting,
for PvP. Right. 400 hours of like farming weapons and everything. And she was,
now if you die, you're dead.
So it's like Dark Souls. Like if you die,
you start over.
Well, you lose like all your currency that you used to level up. You have a chance.
You still get your weapons and your items that you have.
Yeah, all that stuff is fine. Okay. Yeah. It's not like permadeath. Oh god, no, that would suck. But either way, I'm sitting there playing, and Beatrice is cleaning, and I don't know why, she just unplugged the power adapter from the wall. And just total shutdown of everything. And I was just like, what is, oh my God. Of course, like I plugged everything back in, fired the PlayStation. It was like, all of your data is corrupted. Wipe your hard drive.
Fuck.
And I didn't cloud save any of it. Now I like make sure that I cloud save like everything after every game session.
Lost everything.
Everything.
Oh fuck.
Gone. I remember just being like, sweetie, I'm not mad. Like
But I want to beat the shit.
But I'm just no, not even that. Just like I'm just defeated. Like I'm just sad. Like I can't talk to you right now. I just you have to let me sit in a dark room for the next hour and cry.
The next day.
Oh, dude, I remember going to work the next day and just like
thinking I can't stop.
Telling dudes in my office about it, and like all my friends just being like, oh.
Do you ever play Diablo 2?
No, I got super into 3, and I'm currently super into 4. But
so Diablo 2, like that, when that was out, me and my friends got super into it, and we all started playing hardcore, which is like,
right, yeah.
You die,
it's permadeath, yeah,
and then Diablo, there was like PvP aspects of it, so sometimes like you could fight somebody or kill somebody, right? Most of the times people don't want to fuck with each other because it's hardcore.
Yeah.
And we were like Superman. We were all just like super good at it. Like we knew how to like farm the best weapons and get to the best bosses, and we're building up, right?
The secret cow level.
Yeah, the secret cow level. We did all that.
Yeah.
But like it was about getting gear and then trying to eventually go to hell, because there was like there was normal, and then there was like nightmare, and then there was hell.
Is it like torment? Isn't that the highest difficulty, or was that later?
Maybe that was later. Maybe that was 3. So, and it was like we had like, for me, like I was playing like the archer or whatever the character, the
rogue,
the bow girl, the Amazon or whatever she was. Like the best bow in the game, armor for that level, right? And then my friend was like, let's go check out hell. I really didn't want to do it. Yeah. Like, this is first level, right? Like you leave like the base camp and go have a look, dude. We walk out, and I spent like days building this character. You know, like fuck. We walk out like right out of camp, dude. Like not even like see anything.
Yeah,
you know, it's basically camp. Walk out. This little fucking goblin dude runs up, electrocutes the fucking ground. Boom. Dead. I was like,
surprise, motherfucker.
You know, like, and my friend was just like, holy shit. You know, like he didn't die or he wasn't around. You know, it was just like,
so just you're the only one.
Yeah. So it's like, I got your stuff. You know, like I was like, fuck. And I think I quit the game after that.
Yeah,
you know? It's like,
I don't blame you, man. Yeah.
Such, you know, probably the same feeling. You know, and I was like, fuck, dude. I spent all this time like building this up. You know, like
that's dude.
So many hours of
I
doing the same bullshit again.
I couldn't go back to Bloodborne for a while after that, man. It just hurt. It just hurt too bad.
You have to just thinking about what you'd have to do to like get back to that point.
So the funniest part about that, man, is I like posted about it like on my moments. And because again, man, like I was heartbroken, and I was just, as people do when they post on moments, just looking for the sympathy of my friends, man. Mm-hmm. And the most hilarious part was just all of the comments that were just like, "I'm here for you, bro." Just like,
I feel you, you know.
But yeah, no, dude, unquestionably, Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. The dudes who make so again. From Software is the company. They're the ones who make Dark Souls, Elden Ring,
I never played any of those.
If you don't like extremely rageful, difficult games, don't get into them.
Yes, I'm like, I think when I was younger, I was more into that, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe this is like a pussy thing, but like every time there's like a single player game, and unless it's a game I'm really into, like I was really into Cyberpunk.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't do the high level. I just did like the normal.
Yeah.
But all these other games, like I put it on the easiest level, burn through the story.
Honestly, man, as I get older, I've learned to appreciate that a little bit. Like full disclosure with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like the final boss, like that's exactly what I did, because I was just like, I just want to see how this ends. That's the whole point of why I'm playing this.
Spend like 10 hours trying to figure out how to fucking kill this guy.
Right, yeah. It's like I want to see how this chapter ends, basically. But the thing that makes Dark Souls, Bloodborne,
you can't do that.
You can't do that. It's all
which
like
I respect and appreciate.
Well, and that's the huge debate is people like there are tons of people that are like, please just put like a difficulty like setting in this. But I'm of the firm belief that the game would not be the same if you could make it easy.
Yeah, I mean like. There's certain games that like you should experience it as the designer.
Well, as the artist intended.
Intended. It's the same. Like you should, like you don't ask like a chef, a good famous chef. You don't go to like a Michelin star restaurant and be like, can you like cook that a little bit more salty?
Take this back, please. Yeah, I need to speak to your manager.
Right? You fucking eat the meal that they give you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Either you like it or you don't.
See, and this is what I love, man. Like, so the director of all these games, the head designer, this dude, Hideteki Miyazaki. So he did Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. He's like totally against doing sequels. And like there will never be a Bloodborne 2. There's never even going to be a Bloodborne like remaster, because he's just like, this is a perfect piece of art, and I'm not ruining it.
He won't like update the graphics.
Nope, nothing. And I respect that so much.
He's moving on to the next project.
And the only reason he did Dark Souls 3 is because the company forced him to do it. Well, they did a Dark Souls 2 because Dark Souls 1 was so big.
Right.
And he said, okay, you can do a Dark Souls 2, but I'm not gonna be involved with it.
Oh, fuck.
So they've had like the From Software B team, basically. And Dark Souls 2, controversial opinion, sucks.
Right.
I hate Dark Souls 2.
Right.
And after that, he was just like, they can't do this to my baby. So he came back to do Dark Souls 3. And then
great.
And it's amazing. And he said, that's it. Dark Souls is done. We're never doing another Dark Souls.
I'll do one more, but you got to finish it.
Yeah.
You know, like, speaking of fucking developers, right? So there was a time where in my, playing Warcraft 2, right? And playing Diablo 2, and playing StarCraft and StarCraft 2, and then starting to play like World of Warcraft, right? Like Blizzard, like I kind of like stopped playing my PS2 and was just playing like Blizzard games or Call of Duty. Me and my dad used to play Call of Duty all the time. Right. Like deathmatch or 16-on-16 fucking shooting battles, whatever, right? This is when Call of Duty was like first dropped. Right.
Like World War II style Call of Duty?
World War II style. Yeah. Like, that was our jam.
Yeah.
Like,
you remember Medal of Honor? Like pre-Call of Duty?
Yeah, I don't think I play. Obviously, I know the game, but like, I didn't play it too much.
Right.
Call of Duty was our fucking jam. But I want to talk about Blizzard. Like Blizzard was such a fucking amazing game company, right? And there's like they're big games like Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3.
Oh, and WoW too, man.
Well, forget about this. We'll get to WoW in a second. StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, right? These real-time strategy games.
Yeah. And
I just like and I just don't understand why they just like abandon those sequels. I mean, I understand that they were making so much money from WoW.
Yeah.
Right? But still, like the foundation for WoW was these games.
Well, it's based off of all the lore of Warcraft, right?
Right. Well, so like, how come there was never like a Warcraft 4 or a StarCraft 3?
Well, didn't they try to do like Warcraft 3 Reforged and it was just awful?
So they did. They did, right? But I mean, this was like what, fucking 15 years later? Or what, I don't know about the exact date, But
that's
like,
probably in the ballpark.
It's like, how and yeah. The Reforged was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Crashed. They didn't do anything that they promised.
Right.
And that was like, those are the games that like brought the company to superstardom.
Yeah.
Those are the games that we all grew up playing.
Most influential games of all time. Yeah.
And how can you just do like shit? How can you just shit on it?
Well, and now, dude, that's the big thing. Like, I don't know. Do you ever mess around with Overwatch?
I never played it.
So if I'm playing an online shooter, like it's pretty much Overwatch. That's like my between games game is I just log back on to Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is it's like insulting. Just the absolute just cash grab that it is. Like they moved it free to play. But like, like the little keychains that you can get to like put on the side of your gun.
Oh, it's like $10.
So the keychain in game is more expensive than buying the actual keychain in real life.
That's ridiculous.
It's absurd. And like even Diablo 4, I
bought Diablo 4, but I couldn't play it on my PlayStation.
You might be able to now
because they just made the deal with
NetEase.
They're back in.
But that I've probably spent like an extra $100 on skins
on Diablo.
Diablo 4,
Holy
yeah. But even that, dude, like it's already a $70 game, and then skins are $25. Like that's insane.
For one outfit, right?
For one outfit.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe I'm part of the problem, dude, because it hasn't stopped me from spending like $100.
You're a whale. They always say like
a whale. Yeah.
All these fucking whales are supporting this fucking, economy.
Yeah, that's it might just my
I mean
my outfit addiction.
For me, like okay, $5, $4.
Sure, totally.
$1.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm wrong. Because I don't know the economics of how much money these companies make from these skins and stuff like that. But like, I think if it was a cheaper price, a lot more people would buy it.
I don't know, man. Because you got to think like they have to be selling. Like they wouldn't keep doing it
at that price point, right?
If people weren't buying. So, like, okay, again, Overwatch. This past season, they just released what they call like legacy skins or whatever. Mm. The ones that are supposed to be like a one-time, you can get this skin, and when it's over, you'll never see it again. Well, they've started selling them, and to get the entire skin, it's $50.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
It's just insane, man. So when you talk about like, hey, like how did Blizzard become this? I'm right there with you, man. It's like they have just completely tarnished their reputation.
Yeah, and now all the people who were started Blizzard, you know, like they all left. They're all gone.
Oh, dude, none of these.
Blizzard is not the same company.
Well, not to mention
Mike Morhaime, Chris Mezzan.
Yeah,
like
the OGs, man.
The OGs are all gone.
Even not to mention, man, all that crazy, just like, and we won't get into it, but just that stupid. Well, not stupid. It was very legitimate. The sexual harassment thing that went on with Blizzard, that totally just destroyed their reputation.
Yeah, I mean, those are all bad things that happen fucking every day in the world. It doesn't diminish their game quality. You know, like it's a side point.
Sure,
you know?
But it certainly didn't help the way that people view their products.
You know, and maybe this is a heartless thing to say, and I shouldn't say it. You know, but like, I would still buy their games regardless of that situation.
I don't think that's a heartless thing to say, man. I mean, that's just the quintessential remove the art from the artist kind of thing. Separate the art and the artist. Like I said, man, I don't want to get into it, but that definitely didn't help.
Before any of that shit happened.
Yeah, well, they were already on their way out. On the downslope.
The thing is, as soon as they give up their okay, if it were me and I was the head of this company, I would be like, okay, StarCraft, Warcraft. Every 5 years, we need to make a new one.
Right.
We're making a shit ton of printing money with World of Warcraft.
Right.
Printing money. Like, have more money than we can fucking know what to do with. We got to keep our foundation strong.
Well,
you know?
and keep... Because again, man, you got to think, especially with StarCraft, like the professional, like competitive thing is a huge part of that market as well.
Not anymore, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it was thriving back in the day.
But StarCraft 3 would have fucking been, you know.
Yeah.
StarCraft 4, Warcraft 5.
But I think that's the point. It's like if you go on to StarCraft 3, like, so you play Payday? You see Payday 2?
My kid plays it.
So Payday 3 has come out and like nobody plays it.
Right.
Because like the second one was perfect, and then they just screwed everything up with 3. So it's like they effectively just threw away a bunch of money, like developing a new game instead of just upkeeping the old one.
Right.
So when you say like,
well, even those like StarCraft 2, they could just make new expansion packs every 2 years.
Well, that's the thing, man. They could just keep updating the game. Like what Destiny 2... Destiny 2 has been like effectively like reinventing itself for 10 years.
Right.
Because they just come out with new expansions and it's an ever-going story. Now, granted, people are pretty burnt out on Destiny 2. You know, it's had its ups and downs. I think people are like pretty anxious to see it end in June. But again, man, it's been updated constantly for 10 years, and it's been an ongoing experience for 10 years. And they've kept like a very high consistent community and player count for 10 years with one game. So it's like when you say like every 5 years they should develop a new one, I don't know if that's necessarily true. But what you said, going back and adding expansions, adding quality of life updates, new maps, things like that, I think that's kind of the way of the future.
Yeah, and especially like in a company like Blizzard where they had the money to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, they had the money to like, okay, let's just take 5% of 1% of the money that
of our WoW money, yeah,
of WoW money,
yeah,
and let's put it back into our core. You know, and also too like let's take you played StarCraft or you know the game.
Never played StarCraft.
But you know the game, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's no reason why like Helldivers couldn't have been a StarCraft MMO. Right?
Oh,
like,
well, yeah, right on. Yeah.
You know, like a first person, you play a Marine.
Yeah.
Or whatever, a fucking bug or.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I was wet. I was like, okay, wow. Okay, World of Warcraft came out. They're working on this secret project Titan, another MMO. Oh, it's got to be StarCraft MMO. First person shooter MMO. Fucking. What did we get? Overwatch.
Oh, was it? Was that it?
I was just like, fuck, dude.
Well, and when Overwatch first dropped, man, what was it? 2016 was when like Overwatch 1 came out. Like that was more than a successful video game. That was like a cultural phenomenon.
I never played Overwatch 1, but it was huge.
Massive.
People loved it.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember even here, like I think at the time I was teaching 8th grade, and like every 8th grade boy was just like, I want to be Hanzo. Like, I want to be Genji. And just like
even that. Like, you don't need an Overwatch 2. You just need new maps, update some abilities, characters go through evolution, add new characters.
Yeah.
Right, some new storylines.
So the thing with Overwatch 2, though, is they, like, again, Blizzard, it's like they promised all kinds of stuff that would be added to it, and then once it came out, they were like, we lied. We're not going to add any of that.
I mean, I guess like the downfall of Blizzard was, and I understand it, is when they sold to Activision.
Well, yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, when you're the owners of Blizzard and somebody's offering you billions of dollars.
Oh, of course, man. I mean, what's the whole point of starting a company like that is to make money and eventually get bought out, right?
Yeah, but I mean, before the Activision acquisition, I'm sure that those guys had more money than they fucking knew what to do.
Oh, I'm sure, man. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
They're already rich.
Right.
Well, cheers, dude.
Yeah. Boom.
Besides, like, I would probably say like Warcraft, like 3, and StarCraft 2 would probably be like my all-time favorite games, just because like the history. Mm-hmm. But I think from one of the best games ever made, I think was like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, dude, yeah, man, no questions. That was a pandemic game for me, man.
That was, I mean, and I'm still waiting. I don't understand why there's no PS5 version.
Again, dude, I think it might be like the instance where like Rockstar knows that is just like a perfect piece of art and doesn't want to go back and really mess with anything.
If they don't have to change anything. Just make the graphics a little bit. But I mean, it's still a beautiful game.
Yeah,
like for being.
I don't know what that entails, like going back and like upscaling textures and stuff like that. I don't know, but I do know that it took like 10 years for them to update Grand Theft Auto 5.
Longer, maybe. Even from the first Red Dead to the second Red Dead.
The first Red Dead was Red Dead Revolver, like way back in the day.
I never played. I didn't play any of the Red Deads.
That was I ended up getting that game for my dad for Father's Day one year. It was Red Dead Revolver. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that was the original. And then Red Dead Redemption, I think that came out in like 2011.
The first one.
Yeah. And then, yeah, dude, 2, I remember I was living with Eric at the time, and he just came, like, busting through the door one day, like, after work. I was like, dude, I went to Hua Chong Bay. I got it. Like, I got Red Dead 2, man. Like, you don't owe me anything. I'll take the morning shift. You can have the night shift. And, like, Eric would wake up and play from, like, 8 until, like, 4. Like, we'd get something to eat, and then, like, I would just take over, like, 8 and
play. You
play
guys were playing the same character? Or, like, you guys
No, we had 2 separate profiles on my PlayStation.
Okay.
So, like, I provided the PlayStation, he provided the game, and then we took different shifts. And it was hilarious because, like, we're trying not to spoil anything for each other.
Right, to talk about it, you know?
He's like, dude, did you... I don't even know how to say this. Like, did you get to the part where, like... You know, the thing happens with, like, Jeremiah, and just being like, dude, I have no idea what you're even referring to.
You know? Yeah, man, like, I played it, and when I played it, I didn't take my time on it. Mm-hmm. Like, a little bit, but, like, I just kind of like, the story was so, like, captivating to me, where I just wanted to, like...
Just rip through it.
Just rip through it. And then... After I kind of like stopped playing it, like I gave it to Freddie.
Yeah, nice.
Know? And Freddie played it, and he did every single achievement.
He completed it, like 100%. 100%.
Like there was one thing that he couldn't complete because there was like a bug in the game.
That's oh man, that's shitty. That's so frustrating.
Like, you know, like I don't know what it was, but like like he went everywhere. You know, but I used to watch videos on YouTube like. You know, the 20 most hidden things in Red Dead.
Yeah.
You know, like the aliens, the ghost ships.
The vampire that you can find in Saint Denis.
I never found the vampire.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, that whole game was nuts, man. I played through it again, like when the first lockdown happened, and I was just like, I wasn't working. Thankfully, my job at that time was still paying me. So like I just for days just had nothing to do. And Beatrice was still at work. So it was like truly just like dude man cave mode.
Right.
And like, yeah, man, I think I put like another 100 hours into Red Dead 2. Just it's like I'm gonna go through this again.
I want to go. I mean, I was just like, when I keep wondering, like, because I know they'll make a shit ton of money if they release it for like the next generation consoles.
That's the thing, man. I think Rockstar is just totally like in 100% GTA 6 mode right now.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. That's going to be the biggest video game of all time, or at least the biggest release of all time.
And the crazy thing is, like, GTA 5 was, like, the best-selling video game year after year after year after year, you know?
Yeah.
I was just like...
And honestly, man, hot take, I don't really like GTA that much. It's like once the novelty has worn off of, like, I'm going to steal a cop car and, like, commit crimes, then it's just, it's kind of a subpar game to me.
Right. Yeah. I also like. I never finished GTA 5.
Right.
But when GTA 3 came out,
well, that was pretty groundbreaking.
You know, that was just like, oh, holy shit.
Actually, dude, you know what I just bought the other day because it was on sale. Speaking of Rockstar games, was that did you ever play Manhunt?
No.
Oh, dude. So okay, going back to like being my parents not letting me play these like mature games, right? My brother, 5 years older than me, like he was allowed to because he was older, and the math still doesn't work out. Like what they were letting him play these games, and when I became that age, they like wouldn't let me play them. So, but I remember he got GTA 3, but then I remember he also got this game Manhunt. Like, have you ever read anything about it?
I don't know anything about it.
The concept of Manhunt is that you are a death row inmate that gets the lethal injection, but you wake up from it. That there is like this super connected snuff film director that has set you up to just take this entire night and film you basically like brutally murdering people like as ruthlessly as possible.
Oh fuck. It's a Rockstar game?
It's a Rockstar game. And the whole point is for you to just find like plastic bags or like glass shards and like sneak up on gang members and essentially just brutally murder them.
That's nuts.
Clearly, this was like the most horrifying game for parents when it came out. Like, to the point where I think it was only on sale for about like half a month before Walmart removed it from their shelves, all this stuff. Fuck. But my brother got it before they removed it from the shelves. And I've had this very clear memory of me and my brother being like, dude, like, I wonder if you're allowed to like say the F word in video games. And then, like, that second, we turn a corner and there's a sign that just says, like, kill this dumb fuck.
Right.
And, like, me and my brother were like, dude, this is crazy.
This is the best thing ever.
This is wild. And, like, I just remember my dad coming home from a long day of work was very clearly, like, he had a bad day. And, like, I wasn't supposed to be playing this game.
In
but
a fucking grumpy mood.
Yeah, like, I wasn't supposed to be playing it. He knew I wasn't supposed to be playing it. And he came home and he just took one look at this, like, TV screen, took one look at me and was just like, I don't even care. and then just kept walking. But I just remember talking to like him or like my Uncle Fred or somebody about it later and just talking about this game and them just being like, wow, video games are just like trash now, aren't they? Like they're not even trying. And I was like, ooh. But
your uncle said that.
Yeah. And just being like, oh, well, yeah, I guess the whole point of this game is just like graphic violence. Like there's no...
Yeah, well, it's like a Tarantino movie.
Well, it's kind of, man, but it gets pretty gnarly, dude. But I just rebought it because it was on sale.
Well, it's interesting, like, you know, like when video games first came out, right? Very simple graphics, like Pong,
right,
or Space Invaders, or Pac-Man, right?
Yeah.
And then it just as the capabilities grew, you know, the game designers just. They wanted to make games that they wanted to play.
Well, yeah,
you know?
Man.
And the movies that they like to watch, you know? It's like...
I remember watching an interview with the dude who created Space Invaders. And, like, very much the same thing. Just, like, loves, like, alien invasion movies, like, blah, 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 blah. But when they designed it, their original plan was to have them, like, shooting people. And they had, like, a big board meeting that they were just like, no, we can't. We can't have it be people. Like, we'll make it like mythical aliens. And I just remember watching that, just being like, oh man, how long? That didn't last long.
Yeah, right.
But, as soon as one person was just like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna let this ninja rip the head off of this.
So, I mean, one person had the balls to fucking push the boundaries.
I think a lot of that can be probably attributed to Mortal Kombat, man.
And then, Mortal Kombat was one. I mean, even Doom.
Doom
was one.
Yep.
You can even say like Wolfenstein, you know.
Wolfenstein.
Had it, you know, you're basically killing Nazis.
Well, which again, man, like I feel like that. I don't think we were quite there yet to like shooting people because I feel
but killing Nazis was okay.
I was gonna say because it's like Nazis. You're kind of dehumanizing the person that you're like. It's okay to shoot Nazis. I don't condone that. So just Actually, it's funny you say that. I saw a great meme the other day that just said like, if video games influence shooters, I recommend Wolfenstein to everybody.
Wolfenstein is probably. I don't know another game pre-Wolfenstein as a shooter.
No, I couldn't name one. I think that is like the first-person shooter. And even then, too, man, it's like if you look at it, like you can barely tell that what's in front of you like is a gun.
Yeah, it's just a fucking. I mean, it was just a pixel mess.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, man. Mortal Kombat was another one that like my cousin Freddie had. I was allowed to play at cousin Freddie's house.
Yeah, and like Street Fighter came out first, and that was kind of tame.
Yeah.
But then when Mortal Kombat came out, it's like you're ripping the guy's fucking spine out of his back, you know, smashing their head or whatever.
And I still love Mortal Kombat.
You're doing.
Dude, we just had a Mortal Kombat tournament at my apartment not too long ago.
Did you?
Yeah, man.
Did you win?
No. No. But
so, do you have all the systems? Are you like
everything, dude?
You have Xbox.
It's kind of a problem.
But you play your PlayStation more.
That is primarily the gaming instrument.
Also you do PC gaming.
Yep,
too?
we just bought like a pretty nice gaming PC because Beatrice, she's clearly into games, but like she doesn't put as much time into it as I do, and she's very much into The Sims.
But they have Sims on PlayStation.
Well, so she was playing it on Xbox,
right.
And just like it's not optimized for Xbox. It's weird not playing it with a keyboard and mouse.
Easier with the mouse.
Yeah. So I basically got this PC for her to play The Sims, but then she also wanted to play Resident Evil, which lasted all of about like a night.
Right.
Again, man, gaming with your wife, people. That's our big thing is we play survival horror games together.
Right.
But it's very much like what I used to do with my dad. I'm the one playing the game, and she's the one just barking orders at me.
Cockpitting it.
Yeah, but it's like it's more than cockpitting. It's like, oh, you missed that. Why are you going that way? It's like, sweetie, I'm terrified right now. Like you need to
calm down.
So when I got her this PC and I got her Resident Evil, she played like the first like 45 minutes of it before she was just like
freaked out and
sweetie, can you come and like sit in here with me? I'm like, see, every time you give me shit about like, see what it's like when you're finally in the driver's seat. But yeah, no, she's a big Resident Evil fan. We've played through most Resident Evil games together. When we were first dating, I bought her Resident Evil 7, which have you played Resident Evil 7?
No.
It's one of the scariest games made.
I haven't played it. I played Resident Evil 2.
The remake?
I played the original a long time ago.
Yeah.
I never finished it.
Right.
I started playing the remake again. I got like an hour into it and stopped.
Right.
I'm usually like 1 or 2 hours into a game and then stop.
Right.
Unless the game is really
gripping.
Really gripping. Like I really liked Control.
Yeah,
Control is fucking a great
fantastic game. Yes.
I really liked Alan Wake.
Did you play Alan Wake 2?
I haven't played it yet.
I won't. We're not even going to talk about it because I just want you to experience.
You told me a little bit about it on our WeChat, but like,
terrifying.
I don't really buy too many games unless like, I think like Alan Wake 1 was like $10 or something.
Right. Well, I think on PS too, it's free.
Oh, I think it was free for a month or.
It's like one of the monthly games or whatever.
So I was like, fuck it. I think even Control was the same way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't really. I mean, since like the past, like I would say like the 10 years, the graphics are so good. You know, like
it's incredible, man.
It doesn't really matter if it's like a brand new game or a fucking 10-year-old game.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fucking great for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, I totally empathize with that. Like, there are definitely games like that I go back and revisit. Like BioShock. You ever play BioShock or you know of BioShock?
I have BioShock Remastered for my Mac.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You know?
Yeah. Like, I go back and play the first BioShock game like maybe once a year.
You know?
Because it's just such a moment in time.
Yeah, it was in a great game.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, man. So that's the thing. Like, very much like our primary hobby together is playing survival horror games together and watching scary movies. We're very clearly into horror stuff. But I bought her Resident Evil 7 for like right when we were first dating, right? Not knowing that she literally can't play first-person games because it makes her like motion sick.
Oh shit!
So this is how this started. She was like, "I really want to play this, but like you need to play it. So like I'll just tell you basically what I want to do, and you just captain the ship."
You're like the puppet and shit.
Yeah. Which I'm sure, like, cool, like I'll do that. Not knowing that this was one of the scariest games like ever created.
You guys play with the lights down.
Oh, dude,
volume up.
Lights totally off, volume up, like a little bit of a window crack to get a cool breeze coming in. Like, oh, it's perfect. But there was a moment where like something absolutely horrific happened, and I just dropped the controller and was just like, I gotta go outside.
For you or so
me? I was like, I gotta go outside and smoke a cigarette. I can't do this. Where are you going? You come back. And I'm like, you don't understand how stressful this is right now. So when she finally started playing Resident Evil 2 on the computer, I just love rubbing that in.
Yeah, it's different when you're sitting next to somebody and you're just kind of watching. It's like a movie.
When you are the one captaining the ship.
Yeah, when you're like the one moving and looking and have like control of what is happening.
Completely different experience.
You're much more immersed into the experience, you know?
I have another funny story about me and Beatrice's gaming hobby. This was before we were dating, but very much when I was like infatuated with her, we'll say. She came over to hang out and play Bloodborne. And she, was like, let me have a try. Like, all right, here's the controller. And if you know anything about these games, sometimes you pick up items that like they're single use, and once you use them, they're gone. That's it. Like you don't get them again until the next game cycle. And I'm sitting there watching her just like pressing random buttons, using all of my items, and I'm sitting there just like trying to hold it together, just like. You haven't had a girlfriend in a while, man. Like you gotta deal with this, man. You gotta deal with this.
It's just a video game item.
It's just a video
10
game.
hours to get.
Yeah, like, it's just a game.
That's okay.
And just being like, okay, you're going the right way. You are doing great, sweetie. Yeah, we're not sweetie at that time, but yeah. Oh, dude, that's tons of gaming memories with Beatrice.
I even have like the similar thing with like my kid, right? Like my kid, like I'm much more like, I have a lot more experience and I'm very like strategic. I played like Call of Duty, like hardcore Diablo, hardcore World of Warcraft, hardcore. Like my favorite gaming experience are player versus player, right? Like that's where I have the most fun.
Right.
Because like there's a difference between like playing like a computer and playing
somebody else,
a real person.
Yeah.
It's a much higher level of difficulty.
Right.
But like sometimes when I watch my kid, like my kid just wants that fun and enjoying like fucking around. I'm just like like you don't fucking use your grenades like that.
What are you doing?
It's just like my competitive like nature is just like but I just gotta keep my cool. Like he's having fun. He's
Let him figure it out, man.
He's a kid. He's only, I can't. I'm getting emotional in my heart watching him because like, no, you motherfucker, like but this is like, man, just. Relax.
Just chill. Just chill.
Just a game, don't get emotional.
Yeah, man. There's been a couple of times because, like I said, primarily what me and Beatrice play together are horror games. Like very rarely, like unless it's like something like groundbreaking, she'll sit down and play. Like I think she played some of God of War with me or something. But there have been times where like I think it was the new Dead Space game that came out, which again, horrifying game, and I was literally like screaming like a 9-year-old because something happened and was scary and I'd run away. She came poking her head out and was just like, should you stop for like 15 minutes? Like, are you okay?
Take a break.
Are you okay? It's like, get out of here. I'm fine. Yeah.
I need my
my
space.
Dude, and like she met my family for the first time last summer. And she hit it off like with my nephew like immediately, and the whole what they were doing the entire time was just Animal Crossing.
Oh, really?
Just playing Animal Crossing together the entire time, and that was such an awesome thing to see. Just Auntie Beatrice with her nephew playing Animal Crossing,
playing games.
Yeah, man. Yep. That's the thing, dude. Like I was talking earlier about like playing video games with my dad and stuff. Like it's part of the reason why like I just like very much like music, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to this. It's just like there are just so many strong familial memories that are tied to gaming.
Yeah, for me, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like I'm happy to see that kind of continuing with my nephew.
Right.
My nieces too. I gave my brother my old Switch. I bought a new Switch, and I was just like, "Here, dude, and like here's a copy."
OLED.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, and here's a copy of Mario Kart. And even my brother too was like, "Yeah, dude, like I forgot that raging out on Mario Kart was."
Dude, Mario Kart first came out, man. That was like the game.
Yeah, dude. My mom used to play a ton of Mario Kart. Yeah.
Now I always like was like, and Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal,
The original,
dude,
right?
Yes.
That was like that came after Mario Kart, but that was like such a fun like car game to like.
Dude, what? Because they made a Twisted Metal show. I didn't watch any of it because I was kind of thought that was a stupid idea. But who or what was the name of the ice cream truck that had a clown on it?
I don't remember the name.
But that was like the main like character, right?
Like the box art.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Kids I used to hang out with, like in elementary school, had Twisted Metal. I don't think I ever owned it, but yeah, dude.
But the follow-ups to that game were terrible.
Were there even follow-ups? I don't even remember.
They have.
Yeah, man.
But the original one was like so
classic,
so fun.
Yeah,
you know. Dude. And that's like when I bought the PlayStation 4, I was like, I told my wife like, yeah, like I'm buying it for my son. I want him to have a PlayStation. I didn't own a console since PlayStation 2.
Right, yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure that's what...
but secretly I knew, I was like, I'm buying this shit.
For me, yeah.
For me, And I was always like, I bought the PlayStation, I had the Nintendo, the first one, and then I had the PlayStation 2. But during all that time was like PC games.
Right.
And then eventually I just stopped buying PCs. I just was all just Mac based with my job and work and career and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was just like, once the last PC retired, I never like.
That was it. Yeah.
That was it, and it's been like there's no good games for the fucking Mac.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they tried to release like Death Stranding on iPads
you could always
or whatever.
play like the Blizzard games until Overwatch came out.
Oh, really? I didn't know this.
You could play. World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Warcraft, they always had a Mac and PC release at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
did that just cook MacBooks? That doesn't sound like, because Macs are like not optimized for games. As far as I know, are like not optimized.
If you have the latest Mac, it's pretty powerful.
Right.
And usually I had like a very good Mac just because I needed it for graphics and design and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, I never had an old or bad Mac.
Yeah.
So like, and so Blizzard games were enough for me.
Right.
Until like, finally I got the PlayStation 4 and then PlayStation. When the PlayStation 5 was first released here in China, I couldn't justify paying twice the amount.
Yeah, dude. So that was the thing. And two, all these scalpers bought up all the PS5s and like charged double for them, right? And there were no games for it.
Right.
So like, I think that's just a general rule of thumb for any new console coming out. It's like, wait 6 months. Just so you can actually play it. Like, so you're just not playing your old games on it.
Right.
But I got super lucky because I know this woman in Huachang Bay that like I've been buying video games from her for years. That she got like a PS5 digital version that like had a little scratch on it.
Oh,
that like I don't know if it fell off the back of the truck or something, but like it was like just cosmetically damaged.
Right.
And she messaged me and was like, "Hey, look, I don't know if I can sell this to anybody. Like, do you want it?" She gave me like a stupid deal on it.
Right.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like,
I'll take it.
Yeah. And I remember too, because me and Beatrice, we were moving in like 2 weeks or something. And of course, moving costs money.
Yeah.
I remember coming home with it and Beatrice just being like,
really?
Dude, you couldn't wait until like we moved. Like we kind of need this.
It was a hot deal,
That's what I thought. It was like, sweetie, it's fine. Yeah.
So like what I did was like, because we were still playing a ton out of our PlayStation 4. It wasn't like we didn't have any games to play. Like
Well, we were talking about like at our break with credit cards and stuff, man. The first credit card I got, that was the first thing I went out and bought was a PS4.
Really?
I went, and again, man, it was so gnarly. Like I ran to Coco Park to like cash withdrawal with this credit card,
just for a PlayStation.
Yep, and went to Huachong Bay and bought a PS4. It was the first, like at 22, man, with my first credit card. Very responsible purchase. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, like so when the PS5 came out, price was super high. I'm playing the PS4 with my kid, and we have 4 controllers because all the kids come over. I was like, okay, so me and my kid, we're gonna save together. So like I told him, like every dollar that you put into it, I'll match.
Right.
So he would like get birthday money,
Yeah.
Put 500 kwai. I put 500 kwai.
Right.
He would get Chinese New Year hung bao.
Yeah.
He put some money in. I put some money in.
Classic. Yeah.
By the time we saved enough money, like the price had dropped to like a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Nice, man.
We bought it.
That's classic. I remember similarly, again, I feel like this is just the Bills Info podcast, man. My dad did like the exact same thing, not with video games, but I remember my dad was building like a new patio in our backyard, and where they dropped off the bricks for this patio was like 100 yards away from where like it needed to be.
Right.
So my dad was like, I'll literally pay you 10 cents for every brick that you carry to where it needs to be. And for like a week, like as soon as I got home from school, like I would just pick up like a bunch of bricks and carry it over. And I think I made like $13.
Right.
Which is what?
It was a lot of money for you, I'm
Dude,
sure.
yeah, I was going to say, like at 8 years old, man. Yeah, $13. I went and bought a bunch of Spawn action figures.
Right.
Yeah. But no, dude, that's teaching kids how to save and financial responsibility is important. Especially, again, another great dad moment. I remember buying an Xbox 360 with my own money for the first time when I was in high school. It was the first paycheck I ever got. And I went and bought an Xbox 360. And I remember my dad just being like, remember this, man. Like, you work hard. Like, you can buy the things that you want. And I just remember being, like, checking out at Walmart with this thing. And that has always resonated with me. Like, work hard and you can buy the things that you want. Bill's Info.
Yeah. That's
the man.
Truth. And like... like buying a video game that you can spend 100 hours on is so much more valuable than a fucking dinner and some drinks.
Oh, dude.
That lasts like 2 hours or 3 hours.
So this is like the big debate, man. Is like people recently have started to get like pretty uppity about the price of video games now, right? But
which I think is they're pushing it too far.
So this is kind of my justification for it, man. Number one, like the cost and how much it takes to make a video game now
is agree with that.
Ridiculous.
Right.
And then on top of that, dude, at least in my opinion, if you do the math, like gaming is the best like dollar to value like entertainment
for
there
time.
is.
Absolutely.
It's like a $70 video game. Theoretically, now some of them will be like 8 hours long, and that's where people get pissed. Like I just spent $70 on this, and it was an 8-hour game. Like, kidding me? But games like I think I have like 215 hours in Elden Ring, and like am still like ready to just go back for more.
And how much would that be like per?
It's like
for cost per hour.
It's like 40 cents an hour.
Right.
Like, yeah, where like you can go. Like, how much does it even cost to go see a movie anymore?
Yeah,
like 100 kwai, 200 kwai a ticket, and then you're there for 3 hours, and that's it.
1.5.
Yeah, and the ride's over, and you're done.
Plus popcorn and
drinks. Anything that you want to get at the movie theater. So I get it. Like, clearly gaming is becoming a very expensive hobby to be into, but in terms of just straight up like value for entertainment, like I don't know if it can really be beat, man.
Right. For like Helldivers, right? Like it was a $40 game.
Right.
I'll be playing this game for the next fucking 10 years.
That's true. Yeah. And that's I think that's really giving a lot of room to the rise of what they call like AA games now. Not these huge like Final Fantasy VII or God of War like AAA like behemoth games, but these like middle like indie studios that are creating games of very high quality, but they're half the price.
Yeah.
And I think that market is going to grow as AAA games get even more expensive, and
I hope so.
Dude, because
then there's so many good games like Don't Starve. You ever play Don't Starve?
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah.
It's like such a simple.
I think I have it on Switch.
Yeah, we have it on PlayStation.
Right.
And me and my kid will play together.
Yeah.
We never get very far. We last like 5 days.
But the thing that I think is probably like the best case, not the best case, but the thing that I'm most excited for with the rise of these AA games, right, is because these games are so expensive to make for AAA games. None of these studios take risks on anything. It's like we're just going to put out the same formulaic bullshit because we know it's going to sell. And like nothing ever changes. Nothing ever really innovates.
But also too, like all these like AAA games, like a big part of making the game budget is wasted on just marketing and promoting the game.
Right.
And not actually making the game,
I mean,
when you have smaller studios, they're putting most of their money on making the game,
right?
And then
that too. It's like without such a huge, like multi-hundreds of millions of dollars investment, like AA studios take risks and like experiment and do weird creative stuff. And like I'm so into that.
Out of the box stuff instead of like something that's like a formula.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we did the research and we know that this is the kind of thing that's going to sell. Like that doesn't scream creativity to me, I
have a question for you because I've never liked the Xbox, and there's one reason why I don't like the Xbox, is I don't like how the controller looks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I was with you up until that. I don't really like my Xbox either.
I love how the PlayStation controller is kind of like duplicated on both sides, where you have like the thumb.
Okay.
In sync,
And the Xbox, they're like it's
off tilted a little bit.
Right. I don't know, man. So this is the thing. It's like the PS5 unquestionably is like the superior piece of hardware. Like everything from like its UI, its interface in the menu, like it's all so smooth, it works great. Like Xbox, like some shit just doesn't work sometimes.
Really?
Like it's really frustrating. It's like I'll go to download a game and it just will not. Like, it'll make the sound, but it won't start downloading. Or, like, the UI won't load properly. Just dumb shit like that makes it feel cheap. But I disagree with you, because the one thing that I love about the Xbox is the ergonomics of the controller. Like, it is just so much more comfortable to hold than a PS5 controller.
Really?
Yeah. In my opinion.
See, I haven't played the Xbox. Maybe at the most I've played the Xbox in my whole life, like for an hour.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But just from the visuals of the controller,
you just don't like how it looks.
I never liked it.
Yeah, right, okay, fair enough.
Like, I never wanted to fucking buy one or anything. I was just like, and for me, like the PlayStation, I mean, I don't feel that the PlayStation controller is uncomfortable. I
don't think it's uncomfortable. I just think the Xbox controller is more comfortable.
Is more designed better.
Yeah. It just feels better, man, especially for shooters, too. Now, what I love about the PS5 controller is all the haptic stuff going on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And, like,
Did you buy the Pro controller?
No, I don't have the Pro controller. And I'll tell you why. Because on my regular controllers, I have snapped the haptic spring in them numerous times.
Oh, like most of my controllers are like half working. I don't want to say half working, but
something's busted in them.
Busted,
yeah. Like I've literally I've had to open up controllers and replace the springs in them because sometimes like the springs are cheap and they just bust. If the Xbox had something in their triggers that was a little like haptic, like the PS5 has, I think that would be the superior controller, hands down.
Yeah, like I've got all my like kid and all of his friends just fucking
I'm sure, yeah, dude, yeah, all kinds of, yeah, man, I'm sure those things get like, totally destroyed.
So like the next controller I need to, because we've already broken one, so the next controller I buy is gonna be like my controller.
Yeah,
and it's gonna go on the
daddy's controller.
It's gonna go on the top shelf.
Yeah,
that nobody can fucking use except for when I need to play.
Yeah, man.
Because these kids are just like, like the rubber on the finger joystick, whatever.
Yeah,
I think there's only like out of 4 controllers, I think only one like
works the way it's supposed to,
or one still has the rubber that didn't get like rubbed off or like ripped or
yeah.
Just the other day, like I was playing like Helldivers and like the left finger joystick didn't have the rubber on it. It was just like the plastic.
Yeah,
right? But on the right, so the rubber, but like the rubber would spin around. Ooh. You know, so like I'm moving left, and then the rubber's still like moving, like it's like loose, like on the controller.
Yeah.
So like fuck, so I just like rip that off.
This is not working. Yeah,
because I was like trying to like aim at something, and my fingers like, it just felt weird.
That's it, man. You need to invest in Daddy's controller.
Yeah. So when the time is right, it's gonna be Daddy's controller. Nobody can touch it. Not even my kid.
Yeah.
You know, like you have like your janky, broken up controllers for all you and your friends.
This is Dad's special controller. Right. So that's the thing, man. Like we take pretty good care of our controllers, but like we have a bunch of pets.
But you don't have awesome. But four kids that.
Well, yeah, that's totally different than just like two hairy cats. But like, I get a bunch of stick drift. Like, I constantly need to clean out like the sticks of my PS controllers because my cats just fucking lay on them, and then a bunch of animal hair gets stuck in there, and then like the sensors get all messed up. So I'm constantly opening up my controllers and cleaning them out.
I've never done that,
dude. YouTube is a great resource on how to do that, man. But because again, that's another thing, dude. Is like controllers are just so damn expensive.
Yeah,
it's like $70 for a controller.
Yeah, like 500 kwai or something.
Yeah, so it's like I would much rather just teach myself how to like maintain a controller than just be like, oh, this one's busted. I'll spend another $70 on a new one.
You have 4 controllers?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely don't need them. Yeah. Yeah, man. I got like the special edition, like Final Fantasy 16, like all like painted up one. Like
I'm waiting for that. When they make a Helldiver controller, then I'll get the daddy edition.
Nice, yeah.
You know? I love that game, man. It's like it's a game I've been like waiting for a long time. Dude. And actually, I was disappointed when before the game was released, and I was like, oh, Helldivers 2. Because me and my kid, we still played Helldivers 1.
Yeah.
Which is like the top down.
Right. Like the twin stick shooter one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wow, you can have four of your friends all playing together. Right. And then I was like, fuck, Helldivers 2 is like not even like a split screen. So you could have like your extra,
all online, man.
All online.
Yeah.
That's why I love like Borderlands 3. Because Borderlands...
Can you play it split screen?
Yeah.
I played all through Borderlands 3 all solo, man. I don't think I ever even played with anybody.
You can have 4 people in Borderlands.
So it's like old school style. Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah. So, like...
that was another pandemic game for me, man. I guess, that explains why I didn't play with anybody, because there was nobody to play it with.
Well, yeah. Well, next time, like, you and Beatrice can play that together.
She can't... As I said, man, she can't play first-person games.
Oh,
she gets motion sick.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but Borderlands, I loved it.
You play Tiny Tina's Wonderland?
I started to.
Yeah.
Didn't get very far. Like I'm like a.
No, I can feel that though, man, because I've forced myself to finish it. I definitely got to a certain point with it where I was just like, there's something weird about this one, man.
It's not that. It's just like I just like start a game, and it's just like, and it's all the majority of the games I play is just like I play like a few hours and then I'm done.
And then that's it. Yeah.
It's just like
we're the opposite, man. Because I feel like that's what happened with me with Helldivers. It's like,
well, there's no. I think for you, like I think you're like invested in the story and the experience.
Exactly, with Helldivers though, man, it's like I love that the storytelling is just like all community based, and it's kind of like the community is creating the lore like as it happens.
Realistically, there's no story in Helldivers.
No, you're not.
You just
right.
go shoot, kill.
Yeah, exactly, and I think
that's perfect for me. I just want to like. Sometimes I work late, or I just want to like spend 30 minutes on a game.
Right.
Drop me in, kill some shit, I'm done.
Shut it off, go to bed. Yeah. And like I said, like I think I did that for like 20 hours and like it was fun, but I have no desire to really like get deep into it. Like you said, like if I got like 45 minutes before I got to go work out or I got to go do something, like yeah, I'll fire up Helldivers and like go shoot some bugs. Right. But it's definitely nothing that like I have 2 buddies that are like into it.
Oh, I love
it. Are just like, they probably have over 100 hours into it at this point. Yeah, I'm like
200, 300.
I should look it up on my phone. How many hours you got in it? That's awesome, man.
All right, man.
Cheers.
The Dirty Curdy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I was checking out your YouTube channel. And you've been your first video was like posted like 2 years ago.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
You've been doing it for a while.
I mean, a while, dude.
Well, you have like what, like 200 videos posted?
Well, so we started out trying to do like Let's Plays. of like we would just put on like half an hour episodes of me and Beatrice playing through a game,
right.
Which again was dumb because that market is so ridiculously flooded. It's like there's like 150,000 people doing Let's Plays. Like, why is anybody gonna watch mine? And like we only started doing that really just to like, I guess, kind of test the waters of YouTube. Just to see like what that actually entails, what that's like. We don't really do that anymore. But why it says there's 220 episodes is because like 80 of those are like playing through God of War,
right?
Basically,
a lot of also Resident Evil.
A lot of Resident Evil. Yep. Yeah. So, dude, I've reeled it in a little bit just to be like purely reviews. Because again, like I really like writing. Like I was an English major. That's definitely a skill I don't want to lose in my life. Is just being able to write decent reviews. I like thinking critically about games. And I do it when I want to. So it's like, yeah, I've had this channel for 2 years, but like, dude, there's some times where I don't upload a video for like 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Because like, I just don't feel like making a review about that particular game. That's my thing with this channel, dude. It's like, I took music so seriously for a while that like with this, like, I don't ever want this to become work. Right. Like, I just want to do this when I want to do it. And now, dude, like, I even feel kind of like a phony talking about my YouTube channel because, like, I have 155 subscribers.
It's more than me, man. It's more than me.
It's not even a thing yet, but it's like I very much just want to do this because it's something to do. I don't want to have any expectations with it. Right. It's really nice when I get comments from randos being like, "Dude, like, why don't you have 1 million subscribers yet? This is wild." Like that feels good for sure, but I don't want to expect anything from it, and I only want to do it because I want to do it, and I only want to do it because I love video games.
Right.
That's it. As soon as it starts feeling like work, I'm not doing it. Like there have been a couple of games like that have just come out. You don't
have like the hope or desire that like this could like be a income source for you, and so you can do this like full time.
Again, mind bullets, man. Me and Beatrice were just talking about this last night. It's like, yeah, dude, like, of course, that's the dream, man. Like, if magically, like, I got 1 million subscribers and I could just be a full-time game reviewer, like, dude, sure. But, like, I'm well aware that the chances of that happening are incredibly slim. Realistically, like, if I could get to the point where, like, I have 50,000 subs and maybe, like, indie games want to send me a free copy to review, like, dude, that would be badass. A couple $100 in the bank account every month or so, but by no means is this like a get rich quick like scheme. No means, man. Like,
definitely slow.
Me and Beatrice purely want to do this because we love video games and it's something to do for sure.
Yeah, well, like for me, like I think I just reached 95 subscribers. And most of them, I think, people who are like are friends of the people who come on the podcast, but I also post a lot of. I recently started making vlogs about book printing and going to the factories and stuff like that. And even with my limited subscriber base and not many views, I've already like gotten work from people watching my YouTube videos that want me to produce their book.
There you go, man. Yeah, and that's just another way that can be used as like a productive tool for sure.
Yeah, for me, I just look at it as like the podcast, right? Like, I'm very lucky people want to come and be on this podcast because they're literally
second round.
Like nobody listens to it. Besides like the close friends or the people, friends of those people. If they decide to like share it,
right,
listen to it. But like having like for work, and like having that like getting like that first job just based on making YouTube videos,
the content that you create,
was such an inspiration.
Oh, totally, man.
Like, I could totally see like how this, if I just be consistent about it, and just keep grinding. It's not like I'm gonna make money from YouTube, but like definitely like people who want to make books or
could open up other opportunities.
Open up other opportunities. So it's just like it's been fun, and I'm in a nice situation where I'm not in any illusion that this is going to be like an income source for me.
Right.
And I have a good income source already.
Right. Yeah.
So I can do this for fun. And
that's me and Beatrice joke sometimes that like it would be so incredibly lame if I just started telling people like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah, like my 155 subs, man. Got a pretty good community going, you know. Dude, I just think that's a really healthy attitude to have. It's like I will never look at this as like anything to fall back on, like ever. Like it's purely to make me feel better about spending so much time playing video games, and just because I love video games, man. Like that's it. And like if it turns into something, incredible. If not, you know, no regrets, man.
Right.
Like I just. One thing this has done though, like it has really made me appreciate like people that are successful YouTubers, because I feel like the general thought is just like, dude, what? Like this dude just sits around on stream and just like talks all day. Like what kind of job is that? Like, dude, like to get to that point, like the level of dedication, like it's very similar to playing music, I think. Like you're playing for the sound man for like your first 100 shows before anyone cares, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put hours and hours and hours of dedication.
Yeah, man, for very little payoff.
For no payoff.
Yeah.
You know, almost no payoff in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
And another way I look at this podcast too is like, you know, like in a way, like I get a chance to talk to cool people, you know, about life or about whatever. You know? That's like one of the bonuses. And plus, like I'm very like an antisocial person, so like this is where, you know, like this has become like my going out. You know, like it's
bringing podcast guests on,
somebody coming over. But the most important thing is that like it's a chance for me to record and document my life, because like even though like I invite this guest over, you know, to come and be on the show, I also get to share some of my own stories and stuff about me.
Yeah.
You know, and then if my kids or grandkids ever want to know more about their grandpa,
there you go.
You know, they can go flip on the Shady Monkey Show.
Were you talking about this with Raj on Raj's episode? Yeah, man. I remember listening to that when I was in the shower and just being like, man, that's really interesting. Like that's a really unique way of just viewing kind of content creation in a way. Like that's really awesome, man. I think that's really a really wholesome way to look at it. Just kind of leaving a record of, for lack of a less dramatic term, your legacy, you know? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have another YouTube channel that I created in college, basically just for like all my band stuff. And dude, I love going back and like watching like videos from when I was a college freshman, like terrible at playing guitar, thinking I was way cooler than I actually was, playing in this jam band that like 2 of our friends would show up to watch us play. And it's man, it's a good record. That's the only reason. I'm about to go off on a little bit of a tangent. I apologize.
Let's bring it.
I personally like. I hate the concept of social media. Like, I think what should have been a beautiful tool of human connection is just slowly degrading like our last threads of humanity as we know it.
Totally.
And you know, I don't engage with. Like I had an Instagram, I deleted it. Like I have Facebook. I only keep my Facebook active because my mom is just like, well, I want to see you. I want to be in touch with your life. And I'm like, okay, I'll keep my Facebook. Sorry, Mom.
Right.
But I hate it. I hate that it's still active. But what I do like about Facebook is all the pictures that I've been tagged in for the past 15 years. And I occasionally go and log on and like take a walk down memory lane, if you will. I'm just like, oh man, yeah, that's right. Like that was what I was like in high school, things like that. So it functions well as almost a photo album, or like all the crazy trips I've taken, like through India or like up, you know, to Everest Base Camp and whatnot. All that's documented on Facebook. So in that regard, yeah, like I really, really like it for that. I hate the fact that people use it to like lie about their lives,
right?
And like. I think such a
showboating.
Well, dude, such a huge reason why like there's a rise in like anxiety and depression is just people are constantly seeing just like the highlights of people's lives and not actually the reality behind what it is like to be them.
Right. And comparing
themselves to this other, like, so take this Andrew Tate asshole, for example. Like, won't get into his message or whatever he says, but like I just hate that a lot of these influencers are constantly just like, look at how much money I have. Like down, like that's just what their content is about. Is just like, look how rich I am. And no wonder people are like, just don't have realistic expectations, and there's been a rise in depression. Because like people like that's not real. Like that's not how the real world works. Like, and you are just buying into kind of this fantasy that like, oh, be like me and you'll be rich and have lots of women. Like, dude, that is the classic, like, let me steal some money out your wallet scandal from the beginning of time. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm going off track now, but.
No, but it's true. Like, I mean, even with the photo manipulation of how you look.
Dude.
You know, like.
Oh, God, it just.
Like, I remember, like, this is one night when we were doing the parties, right?
Yeah.
During that time. There was a girl that wanted to come hang out with, like, the Shady Monkey boys. Mm-hmm. And so, like, she knew me on my WeChat. So I invited her over. And we're having dinner at Shark or something.
Right?
We're just,
Shark, yeah.
We're just chilling, right? So, like, she came over. And I didn't recognize her. You know, like, it was like all of her photos posted online were so like doctored and changed.
Yeah.
You know, and then like she shows up and she's like super ugly. You know, like super like fucking like a dumpling. You know?
The old bait and switch. You know, the old switcheroo.
It's just like maybe it's rude to say that she's ugly, but she was not like
false advertising. We'll say
she just was nothing like.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And I only knew her from the WeChat,
right?
You know, and I think like it's more and more people's lives are being pieced. Like what were you saying?
Yeah, man. It's just it's not good for anybody. I was reading something today that like social anxiety in what's the current Gen Z? Is that who's after millennials?
I have no idea.
It's Gen Z. Is through the roof because kids like they don't know how to talk to each other. Like kids have panic attacks like calling the house of somebody because they'll have to talk to somebody they don't know. Like, and maybe this is an easy scapegoat, but I attribute all of that to just social media use. It's like people aren't having real human connection anymore.
Absolutely.
And it's just I don't support it. I don't like it.
Also,
I think
too, like when we were talking about earlier, it's like, you know, like when we were kids, like we would spend our time out and about. Mm-hmm. You know, like I can see it with my kids. I can see it with my son. I can see it with you know all their friends and stuff like that. They're like just even like the general population is just like. They spend more time looking at their screen than talking to people or communicating or having, you know.
The irony has not been lost on me that we say this and we have just spent like 2 hours talking about playing hundreds of hours of video games.
You know, but I don't think. But I think
it's different for sure.
I think it's different. You know, it's different. It's like we're doing something that we like to do. It's not like. I don't know. It's
just the mindless scrolling of short form content, man. Like that's also I think an important aspect of that we got to pinpoint here is that specifically TikTok. TikTok's probably the biggest offender with this. Is like not only is it this comparison thing, but even
also I don't want to say TikTok, but also like Instagram.
Well, yeah. So
Facebook. I think they're all equally
bad. Yeah, it's just not good, man. It's like there's this great band. This band called Twiddle. Mm-hmm. It's like they're a smaller jam band, but they have the song called Lost in the Cold. And there's a lyric in it that says they're getting bold with technology. It's eating up our decency and eroding the thrill of getting old. Mm-hmm. And like, man, I think about those lines like frequently with this kind of stuff. And it's true, man. Like it's totally just like people aren't nice to each other anymore. And like people think they can hide behind a keyboard and say whatever they say, and of course, like some of that bleeds into like actual like real life because people feel emboldened by it, and it's not good, man. And the more I think about it, the more it just like bums me out. Like people just aren't nice to each other. Now you can make the claim that it's been like that since the beginning of time, for sure, But I think now it's just kind of on a grander, more open public scale.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is I don't think it's just going to keep getting more and more digital.
Yeah.
Like you and I grew up in a time where we able to see the transition between like living your life without a screen and living a life with a screen.
Right.
You know? And now all these young kids are just growing up with the screen.
Yeah.
And it just it is part of their history. It's part of their it's going to be part of their childhood memories.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a point to be made that
like, will they even remember like their childhood? You know, besides some like key important points, you know, like a lot of times people are just, you know, scrolling through, watching some shit, you know. Like I said, like earlier, like Sunday morning cartoons was like or Saturday
thing.
morning was a thing, you know, like you know, you knew that Saturday morning, like none of these kids have Saturday morning cartoons.
So this is actually this is kind of piggybacking off of that, man. This is a thing I think about pretty frequently, specifically in the realm of music, right? I think with all of these digital platforms and the fact that like really anybody has an ability to say publish their music or get their music out there, right? It inevitably like diminishes the quality of what is, I'll say like more legitimate music. I hate to use that word legitimate, but like the fact that everybody can get their stuff out there instantly means there's so much of it, which means that the pool for music or art that is truly special kind of doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's never going to be another Beatles because the Beatles weren't competing with 50,000 other bands at the same time.
Well, you could flip that and say there probably was 50,000 other bands out there that wanted to be the Beatles.
Right.
They just didn't have the way to publish their music so that people could hear it.
Fair enough.
You know, like, and if you this is go back to the Beatles, right? This is the plus side of this technology, right? There were probably bands just as good as the Beatles that just never got the chance.
True, or didn't know the right people, or didn't record the right album, or whatever. But it's like
because
if you have like 1 million albums at your fingertips at all times,
which you do
like,
now,
you do. Like you can listen to, you know, I don't know why this is the first name that came to my head. A 50 Cent album. I don't know why I'm thinking about 50 Cent, but yeah. And then right on to a Beatles album, and then right on to a Smiths album or whatever. It doesn't make any of that music memorable when there's just so much of it that's readily available. You don't actively save your money and go to the record shop and pick out like that awesome looking album anymore that you're going to remember for the rest of your life and own for the rest of your life. Like that doesn't exist anymore. Like it doesn't make things memorable. There's nothing like emotionally or physically tying you to that product that makes things, for lack of a better word, special. Yeah,
like, I mean, even like I remember like when I would buy a CD or even a cassette. Well, I never bought cassettes. I mean, my dad had cassettes, but like my first music purchases were CD, right? Early CD era.
Right.
You buy a CD and you're excited to open it.
Yeah.
And read the book and the lyrics and whatever extra goodies they would put into that little booklet that was provided with the CD, like pictures of the band or
like a secret track that like if you kept the last track going for 10 minutes, something would play after it or something like that. Yeah.
And you see, even just like I as a kid, like I have memories of going to like Blockbuster or like the video store.
Right. Yeah.
It was just like, that was an exciting thing. Like, okay, we're going to go to, the video store and pick out the movies for the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, again, that's like...
And now it's just like, you go on Netflix and I watch a bunch of shit. I can't even remember what I watched 2 days ago.
Well, and the fact that you can like just binge 10 episodes of a TV show in a weekend, like that doesn't. There's nothing that makes that memorable. You're not waiting for the next week to be like, what's gonna happen? I have all my theories of all this. Like, no, like you can just watch all of it right there. I don't know, man. I think the progression of technology is ultimately a good thing. It's making people's lives better. But I don't know, man. I think we're at risk of kind of losing our humanity, if that makes sense.
If I were to be the president of the world,
president of dude, I love these scenarios. Right? Yeah,
I would be that like anyone under the if you cannot vote, you cannot have technology in your hands. You know, like grow up like you did in the 80s and the 90s or the 60s and the 50s.
Right.
Riding your bicycle, going to play outside, you know. Go taste the good and the bad of the world. Yeah. Of the dirt of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good way to put it, man.
And when you become adult, then you can get plugged into the online.
Well, but go learn how to pick yourself up, kind of thing, man.
Go learn how to talk to each other and play with each other.
Well, yeah, dude, and that's kind of a huge thing that kind of scares me. Is that we're losing the threads of human interaction, dude. Either way, I want to talk about the things that don't bum me out, dude. We're getting like kind of doom and gloom here.
Right, dude. Anyways, dude,
bro, this has been tons of fun, man.
Yeah, dude, I love seeing that you're a huge gamer. I never knew that about you.
I've always been, man. You know? Always. It's always been like a consistent thing. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know why we've never talked about it until I started
I'm such a huge gamer.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah, man.
I love board games. Like,
yeah.
This was a game I played when I was a kid, and now they re-released it, so I've been like buying all of them. You know?
Hell yeah. So. Dude, Hero Quest. Yeah, man. Yeah. I know Hero Quest. That's was it super popular like back in the 80s?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have my parents still have my original version back at home.
Dude, I forget what it was called, but my brother had an RPG board game, but it came with a VHS that you were supposed to watch and pause along with playing the game.
Like Something the Tower.
I don't remember at all, but I do remember there was
I remember this concept. I don't remember the game, but I remember.
And I think we spent more time like watching the VHS than actually playing the game. Right. But yeah, man. That's old school 80s, 90s tabletop RPGs, dude. Again, are you into Warhammer at all?
I was never into War. I never played miniatures.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that gets expensive.
They looked fun to me. Like I'm not opposed to playing it.
Yeah.
I've tried it a few times. Like just wasn't my jam. Like I was more into like collectible card games.
You're into Magic?
I was into Magic. Yeah.
So I never played Magic. I just had cards because I thought the artwork was super cool.
Yeah, I like the old school. Like I have like a collection of cards that's probably worth like $30,000-$40,000.
Oh man, nice.
That's kind of like my rainy day reserve. You know?
Yeah, the go money investment. Know? Yeah.
So it's just like
yeah, cool,
just
man.
Sitting there, you know, like. So going back to like when I was saying about like I was interning at this game company.
Yeah.
The game designer who was working on this real time strategy game, he was a Magic player. And this is when Magic was first released. So he introduced me to Magic, and we used to play at his house. Or I'd go to card shops with him. Like he took me, like he really like took me underneath his wing. Like so like I started buying when like Magic was first. This is like before Pokemon even was a thing,
right?
And then when I got older, a few years later, like he offered to buy all my cards. And I sold them, you know.
And you got swindled, man.
I got so swindled, you know. But so luckily, like, I was able to get a job. So like, you know, Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
Okay, so like,
is that the company that owns Magic?
Yeah, that owns Magic.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I was I moved to Seattle. I was looking for a job in Seattle, so that's where Wizards of the Coast is located.
Right.
And I thought like I was done with Magic. I'll never play it again. Right. So I was in a suit looking for this fucking job, and I always like I didn't know Seattle very well, and I lived in a city called Tacoma, which was like an hour bus ride away. Mm-hmm. So like when I was trying to find a job, like I would go like 3 hours early to the location. Just so I could get there early and find a coffee shop or just,
Right, yeah.
So like I was going for this interview, and then I saw Wizards of the Coast had a game store, and I was just like, oh, like what? And it was so grand and massive. It was like kind of like their flagship store because Wizards of the Coast is a Seattle company.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? So you walk inside, and there's like this kind of like entrance. And on the right side was like the game shop, in the little kind of like lobby was like these like huge like statues and figurines of like the characters. Left side was like a cafe, so burgers, fries, food, gamer food, everything unhealthy.
Can't surge,
Then you go downstairs, right? So then downstairs was this huge like open room. And on the far right-hand side was like 20 computers that were all like linked up so you could play like StarCraft, Warcraft, Call of Duty, whatever like.
Just like internet cafe almost,
whatever LAN games there was. And then it was just like tables after table after table of people playing Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
And I was just like, holy fuck. And I didn't have any money at the time too. I was like so broke. So I called my dad. I said, Dad, you would not believe what I just found. Like, there's this people playing Magic, and there's this game store, and I'm thinking about playing again. But I don't have money.
I sold all my cards.
I don't have any money to buy cards. So like he gave me like $100 to buy a box.
Oh, nice, man.
So I just went and bought like the latest expansion. I opened up all the cards. So finally I had some cards, right? And then I ended up getting a good job.
Okay.
And then I bought all
the cards you want. Yeah.
All the cards that I used to have.
Yeah.
And then I bought plus some.
Yeah.
A lot of some. Like basically like my life was like going to work, coming home, rolling one up, fucking playing Magic with my boys, and we would play all night. Like my house became like the spot where everybody would like come together. We would play all night. I would go to bed. My friends who either didn't have stable jobs or was their day off would stay at my place, keep playing. I had the PlayStation 2, which was just released, so they would like either play Magic or PlayStation or watch TV or whatever. They would still be at my house when I would leave for work in the morning, and I would come back from work and they would still be there. It was just like it
sounds like the life, man.
It was for like for a 20-year-old who never really made like good income. Like the company like offered me like a job for like $42,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I was just like, for me that was just like.
Well, dude, and what year was this too, man?
2000.
I was gonna say $42,000 a year as a 20-year-old in 2000. That nothing to shake a stick at, man.
Dude, I was for me, I was in heaven.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I got a nice apartment with a beautiful view of like Seattle. The Space Needle.
Living that Frasier life, man.
It was a one bedroom, and it was just like, and all of my friends who I made, like it was all because of this game shop.
Yeah,
like. We met them there. We started playing games.
That's super cool, man.
We started playing Magic. We started playing PlayStation.
Yeah.
We'd have like everybody was into. We all started watching The Sopranos together.
Nice.
So like like you were talking about how getting excited about like once a week the new show would come out.
Yeah.
Every like it was Sopranos on Sunday and Survivor on Thursdays.
Survivor.
Like we'd all get together, like order pizza or food.
Yeah.
Watch those shows. Boom. Play Magic.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Like I never, like I said, I had Magic cards. I had a bunch of Pokemon cards too, but I never got into like actually playing the games. Very similar to like my Madden experience. Never actually played the game.
You just like to dress the characters.
I just liked how it looked. Yeah,
man, those are some of the best memories of my life. Was during that time. Some of the best memories of living in Shenzhen were with you and doing the monkey parties.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah, forever be some of my favorite memories.
And I also I'll watch some like the old party videos and just reminisce and be like, "Fuck, man, that was such a epic night."
That first party that we did, the one at the Dome.
The Dome.
That was the first time that Eric like ever came. Like he had just moved to Shenzhen.
He was involved in that party, right?
Not at all. He was just like a party goer. Like he was just in the crowd.
Right.
And that was the first time that like he went out to like meet people was at that party.
Oh,
and
no
he's
shit.
like, yeah, dude, he said it was
This is
just
the Halloween party.
Yeah, yes, it was. It was the first Halloween party. And I don't know if Adrian had met him a couple of nights before, but he came up on stage and did one song with us.
Okay.
Or he freestyled or something.
Right.
And like I just remember him telling me that was like such a hugely formative moment of just being like, this is like the coolest place like I've ever been. This is wild. And like just to be a part of that, man, that's super cool. You know, man, I have pictures from like I have the exact same angled picture from every single one of those parties, and I love going back and looking at them. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's just and man, you guys like for me like having the band and having like live music was such a important part of the experience, important part of the experience for the people, and such an important part of the growth for the brand.
And I got to tell you, man, I got to tell you something that I've never told you before. Yeah. You ready for this? Yeah. This is kind of a secret, but like we're cool. I'll let you know. That first party, we almost like shot down the offer to be the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I think something like, I don't know if like we weren't getting paid or something, and then it was John that was just like, dude, it's probably like great exposure. This is probably just a great way to like meet tons of people or meet.
Did I pay you for that?
I don't remember, but I remember that being one of like the conversations of just being like, I don't know, we could probably find something better on a Saturday night, man. Because I don't think anyone really knew you that well. Like it was just
nobody.
It
was like, I mean, that was like the pinnacle. I mean, we had some successful parties, you know, before.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3. You know, like people were definitely coming.
Right.
But like it was Halloween, and that was
the big one.
I'm a huge Halloween fan.
Right.
It's like my favorite holiday of the
But
year.
I remember you telling me though that you, well, you didn't even have to tell me. I could very clearly see it on your face that you weren't having a great time at some of those parties because you were just stressed out the whole time.
Honestly, like most of the best parties, I'm not having a good time. Yeah. You know, like honestly, like I'm just like trying to deal with all the bullshit that's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure just constantly putting out fires. Yeah,
complaining. The door has problems.
Yeah.
You know, and on top of that, like, and I feel so bad because like everybody's trying to like talk to me, and I'm just like, you know, sorry, yes, hi, nice to see you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I came across as such like an asshole. You know, like, because like everyone's just like, you know, like
I got shit to do, man.
I got shit to do. And, you know, it's just like.
I remember too, man. So like, luckily
luckily you guys
took the gig.
You took the gig. I think it would have been a big mistake if you guys didn't.
Well, clearly, I mean, yeah, man. So. But I remember being at soundcheck that day too, and that was really like the first big sound system that I think I had like ever played
really?
on. Yeah. And I was playing the bass at that time, and I remember just hitting one note and just feeling it just like from the stage, and Skez must have like seen my face because he just started laughing and was just like, that's musical power, man. Like, I was like, yeah.
And I had no idea like the Halloween party was going to be so successful, you know?
Yeah, dude. That's the thing, because I remember doing 3 of them, and then what happened that 4th year?
There was no, that was it.
Yeah, I think, There
was no more after the third one. I mean, the second one was like we couldn't find a good place. Like the Dome didn't want us anymore.
Well, I know the Dome had, because was the Real Deal the other party company? Was that what they were called?
Well, the problem with the Dome is that we would leave the place too trashed.
Well, dude, that's the thing too. There were other places that did parties there, and I think they eventually just said like, no, we're not doing any more of these like foreigner parties, because like, yeah, the place would just get like totally destroyed every time.
Every time. And, you know, people with like graffiti on the walls, and you know, like. It was just but that was like the best place to my favorite all time place to have an event.
I don't know, man. The pirate ship was pretty cool.
The pirate ship was like kind of like the epic kind of, for me. It was like we did a few parties after the pirate ship, but that was like
the pinnacle. That was it.
That
man.
was the pinnacle. Like we're in a 5-star hotel. We're in a fucking pirate ship.
Like, let's not ignore the fact that we're in a pirate ship.
Like, everything was like perfect. And then there was like, they already had the sound system. They already had the infrastructure. That was a very easy party. You know?
It was already.
Plus we got Budweiser to fucking sponsor.
That's right. It was sponsored by Bud. Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like Budweiser didn't give me any money.
Yeah,
right? It wasn't like they were paying me.
But
money.
didn't we get a bunch of free Budweiser?
I got a shit ton of free drinks.
Yeah.
You know, and I had this fucking problem with this the hotel. The hotel didn't believe me that I was gonna have so many people at the party. You know, like I told the hotel, I said, "Listen, I'm gonna give you like 1,000 free Budweisers that you can sell.
Yeah,
right, and make money. But I need 500 for me and the band members and stuff." And they were like, they had a problem like 500 free beers for your team. I was like, yeah, like, you know, like it's a big team.
Have you met these people?
And they're like, are you sure there's going to be people coming to this party? Right? Like, because they were worried that it was going to be all this like free beers being passed out.
And then they weren't going to, right. Yeah.
Right? Because they're like, you can have like, how many people are you going to have? I was like, fucking a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like it's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna be a really high number.
Like you need to be ready. Like you need to be like, you know, have outside bar, inside bar. Like you need to be able to take money fast, right? Don't be slow on the fucking thing, right? You know, like I know you guys have your policy that like, you know, in order to get money you have to go through all these steps, you know, but like this is like and they really thought like maybe like 200 people would show up.
Yeah. No.
You know? Like they had like no idea, you know. And that was, man, they were so good to me because that was such like I don't know if you walked through the haunted house.
No,
you know?
dude. No, every year I never did that because, like, similarly to you, man, like we were working.
Yeah, you guys had your shit to
like
take care
we
of,
had,
you know?
and a lot of the time with those parties, man, is like we would sound check and like I would go home and take a nap.
Right.
And then like would come back like half an hour before we were supposed to play. So yeah, man, like I had good times, like especially the second one. What was that? A B2 was it was it something like that?
B2 was like super. It was like not the best venue, but I think the vibes.
It was super intimate. Yeah,
because like you just had so many people like right in your like literally like at the edge of the stage. It was just like hundreds
of people. Yeah, but. Yeah, dude. So it's like every time, like we would sound check, I would go home and take a nap, and then come back, and then we would rage out.
Right.
Either that, or I'd be like a little nervous, like walking around the party, so like I just wouldn't really be talking to people, whatever. But yeah, dude, that's the one at B2 though specifically. I remember after we sound checked, John and Adrian were like, "Yo, we're gonna go get a quick just like pregame massage." And like I think at the time, like I was broke and was just like, I'm just gonna go home. Like I'll meet you guys. But we didn't have costumes that night, so Adrian and John just came back with like the massage uniforms that you wear. So like that was our costume for the night. It was
so perfect. You know, it was so good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Classic. That was some quick thinking on their part for sure.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just grab one for Kurt. We're good to go.
Well, Halloween was your favorite? The last Halloween, number 3?
Yeah, man. That was huge, dude. I've told this story on the last podcast, but I remember that I really wanted to play a Jurassic 5 song.
Right.
And John was just like, dude, like nobody's gonna know it. Like, we're not gonna waste our time doing that. And I like demanded. It was like, no. Like, I really, like, we never play anything I want to play. Like, I want to play this song. And we encored with it. And just like the recognition from like the people in the front row all the way to the back, like figuring out what it was that we were playing, and just like you could see like literally the sound waves of people like going nuts figuring out what it was we were playing. And that is another memory that will forever just live in my mind.
Was that the last biggest show you played?
Honestly, man, that was probably the biggest show I've ever played.
Cheers to that. Dude.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
No, man, it was a fun journey with you guys.
And of course,
dude.
I was playing bass, not even the instrument I'm actually good at.
Yeah, John was the fucking guitar hero.
Yeah. Of course, I was playing the goddamn bass. The biggest show I've ever played. Not even my main instrument.
Right.
Yeah. Good times, man.
Yeah, good memories, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I wish I would have done differently during that time.
I got no regrets, man. I wish I would have saved a little more money my first couple of years here, because that was. But you got to think, man. Being 22, being like, I live abroad.
You're just a kid, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
No regrets, dude. This whole thing, like, this is the completion of my 10th year here, and like, it still happens every once in a while, like driving through Futian and seeing like, Chogong Miao and like the city skyline lit up, and every once in a while, like I still get that feeling of like, fuck, like I live in China, like, and that's just such a special feeling that like I never want to die. Like I remember my first year here like it was yesterday, but specifically just remember that feeling of being like, fuck, like I'm doing epic things on the opposite side of the globe. Like I don't even know if I can explain these things to people back home because they won't believe it, and I don't even know how I would even explain what we're doing. And yeah, man, I never want that feeling to die.
Yeah, and I think like as far as like what we did, like I think it'd be very hard for someone to recreate.
Yeah. Bro,
that same. Feeling.
Again, this is something me and Eric used to talk about, man. Like we just hit such a perfect like moment in time for all that. Like there was a perfect storm of just like timing and events and people that lived here, man.
Yeah.
And it was like I just really hope everyone that was involved like realizes that and like cherishes that, because like that shit doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that one show that we played in the tunnel. Like, not a rave, like where we rented a stage and played as bands. Right. Like, it was the first time I'd ever played with any bands in Shenzhen. And I was just a guest guitar player. I only played like 2 songs that night. But we did the coveted double solo in a space folk song where me and John played like this Allman Brothers style guitar solo. And we both crushed it. And again, like you can see in this video, like when me and him both hit the peak of this solo, everybody in this tunnel, this underground abandoned tunnel in the middle of southern China, just people go nuts to like this crazy jam bandy happy hippie solo. Again, I'm so glad that's on film somewhere, because that's one of the most amazing moments I've ever experienced. And I remember talking to Adrian that night, just being like, no one back home is ever going to believe this. How are we ever going to explain to people?
Yeah, how could you tell people,
Yeah.
That same emotion.
Yeah.
It's undescribable.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're going to end it with that, dude.
Yeah, man. Dude.
Some amazing memories together.
Absolutely.
And best of luck with your YouTube channel. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the description.
Excellent. DirtyC Gaming. I'll see you guys there. Thanks, man. This is great. Round 2. I can't wait to come back for round 3, dude.
Yeah, man. Very soon. We're out.